What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is May 21st, and we got a lot to talk about today, Yuli. Not only do we have a nice little event happening out in Stockton, California, where the first thing they tell you when you're about to rent a car is you might want to get insurance here. There's a lot of break-ins. Very nice. We saw Calvin Heimburg say, hey, did you forget about me? We'll talk about him. The PDGA did their thing once again, so we'll have a lot to discuss there. Ella Hansen finally gets it done. Tons of weird stuff decided to happen at OTB Open, like just really weird. So we'll jump into some of those. Kristin Tattar injured. What's going on over there? EDWIN stats as always. Wild story of the week is back. We got a long one too. I saw the length of this wild story. I don't know why it's a novel, but we'll figure it out. And then we're gonna open up the floor tonight, Yuli, to the people. The people in chat, our Tour Life crew members. We're gonna open up the floor to end the show. If you guys have anything you want us to discuss, any questions, throw it in the chat and we will talk all about it. But before we get into that, Yuli, how's it going, brother?
It's good. I'm home. So I was home last week for Life. I'm home this week.
It's always nice.
I'm here for like 6 days, so I'm pumped, man. I'm just happy to be home. It's beautiful out too. Last week it was a little rainy. This week, sunny every day. So I went to the dentist today. I was worried about coming on the show. I thought my half of the face was going to be all numbed up, but it's good. I got the smile back, so that's all I got going on, man.
Nice. Yeah, today was a chill day for me. Kelsey, we went out to take the trash out, and on our driveway she was like, oh, there's like a dead tree out here. I was like, oh, where? She's like, right here. And I was like, oh, let me handle that. And she's like, what? And I was like, no, let me handle that. 5 seconds later, dead tree on the ground, completely out of the ground, no problem. And she was like, I was gonna pay someone $150 to remove that. And I was like, no, we save our money here.
Just let Brodie take care of the house items around.
If you've never have pushed down a dead tree before, it's one of the better feelings in life.
Super satisfying.
I highly recommend, if you can, I highly recommend you all go out there and push down a dead tree. It is really, really fun. But no, I took a red eye out after the tournament on Sunday, got in early Monday morning, and just been getting a lot of stuff done. Obviously we got to get ready to go and move back out to Vegas, so that's coming up. I think Kelsey's heading out there in a couple weeks, so trying to get everything kind of lined up for that. But how'd the tournament go for you, Yuli? A little OTB Open in Stockton.
Yeah, you know what? It was weird. I started off the tournament fine. I shot 6 under first round. I was feeling pretty good about the course. And then it got windy, man. And I always, you know what I've come to realize? Paul Ulibarri sucks in the wind. Like, I'm just not a good player in the wind. Like, I'm just bad.
It was gusty for sure.
Because I went back because I'm like, is this just a one-off thing? And I went back to all the windy tournaments. Music City Open, played horrible. It was windy every single round. Chess.com, little breezy here and there, played awful. I'm just not good in the wind. I don't know. And I don't think I'm gonna be good. I don't want to go practice in the wind, dude.
Are you bad? Are you bad in wind that's like consistent? If it's a consistent 10 miles per hour in one direction, are you bad? Or are you bad when the wind is like ebbs and flows, like gusty?
All of it.
You just don't like the wind.
I can't pin it down, man. Whenever it's windy, I shank shots, and I don't really shank. I think it's just like I don't know where my disc is going. Like, out of my hand, I'll hit the gap, and then it's like if it goes left or whatever, if it goes right, sweet. If it goes straight, dope. Like, I felt like I played really good this week, and I ended up missing cash by a stroke, and that was so bizarre because I played so good. I didn't get it. And so I just kind of chalked it up to being bad in the wind.
Yeah. I feel that. I mean, for me, I actually think when it's windy, it actually gives me a little bit more an advantage because I think a lot of people are like in your boat where they just don't feel that confident or don't feel that great when it's windy. And I think for the people that I think it just advantageous for longer throwers on forehand and backhand, right? Because you can just basically juice up to a more overstable disc and throw just as far as you need to, where others are now having to throw flippier plastic to get the distance, but now in the wind, that's kind of dicey. So it's no surprise to you look at the leaderboard and you look at kind of some of the people at the top there. A lot of power throwers on a course like this, right? Even though this course is not, I would say, a long course by any means, but when it's windy, it's always nice to be like, you know what? I just want to throw one angle, super overstable, make sure this disc is going left the whole time, and you can do that when it's when you can throw far. So, but yeah, my week was interesting. I got in on Wednesday, played a practice round on Wednesday, was extremely sore on Thursday afterwards. Extremely sore. So definitely kind of did a pitcher's count on Friday's round or Thursday's round. Only threw a couple times here and there on some of the holes. And then went into the tournament. And it was a weird one. It was the first 2 days. I don't think I played necessarily well. There was a string of, I don't know, 5 or 6 holes where I think I birdied 5 or 6 holes in a row. It might have been round 2. I can't remember. Where I felt like, oh man, okay, things are starting to click. Things are coming together. But my putt wasn't that great the first 2 rounds. I missed a lot of putts inside the circle. And then fast forward to the final round, and I actually made a lot of putts the final round outside the circle. I started step putting again and made some putts. But it's one of those things where it's like there's parts of my game right now that need a lot of attention. And what I'm doing currently of just kind of showing up a couple days before the event, practicing, playing, coming home, not really practicing, not really playing that much, and then rinse and repeat. It's not really working. So I definitely need to hone in on a couple shots. One of those being like up shots inside of 300 feet. If you don't have a tight window, Yuli, if you don't have like a crazy low ceiling, we need to be getting that into the circle 95% of the time. And I mean, there was times where I wasn't even throwing inside a circle 2. You know, I'm 280 feet out and I'm throwing it to 70 feet. So that needs to be drastically improved. And that's just more just reps of like knowing my disc and knowing what angle I need to throw. Cause I would just be like, oh, I need to throw this zone this wide out here. And then I'd throw it and it wouldn't fade at all. And it just go exactly where I threw it. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. So that definitely needs to be worked on. And then the other thing is, what was the other one I was going to say? Wait, there was one other thing the other thing is just like, there's certain shots where you can't throw a bad shot. You have to throw just an okay shot. So prime example, what was it? The second par 5. What is that hole? Is that 6? Is that 6?
Second par 5?
Yeah. No, yeah. That's hole 6. Yeah.
Yep.
Hole 6. So I threw a great roller, got past the tree line. I've got, 520 into the basket. I can pretty much throw almost any shot and should get up and down for birdie, right?
Yeah.
I try to go for the green, the gap on the left-hand side. I try to go for like a hyzer flip turn nuke into the green. It never flips up to flat. It just immediately goes left, and I go OB. And like right there, it's just like I'm in the middle of the fairway, 520 feet out on a par 5. At worst, I should be taking a birdie. And I walk away with the par.
Yeah, you can't be having that, especially on the par fives. Those are scoring holes. This weekend I felt like the course was okay.
4 birdies in a row, by the way. Sorry, 4 birdies. Correction. Edwin's in the chat corrected me.
I don't like the fact when you can. I don't like a course where the only way you're gonna bogey is if you go for birdie.
Yeah, that's where disc golf is backwards.
That's what's going on in with that
disc golf
course.
is
Like
backwards.
if there was, I like the course. I think there's a ton of good holes there, but I feel like when you're on a course and the only possible way you get a bogey is if you go for birdie, I just don't like that.
No one, the way golf is designed, and again, all you people out there that hate this, we took the sport from golf. So it is what it is, brother. But the way that golf is designed is like a par 3 that's 150 yards. If you say, you know what? I'm actually not going to play this hole for birdie. I'm just going to hit a 70-yard shot and then another 70-yard shot and take my par and walk off and not even risk bogeying this hole at all because there's so much trouble up by the green. Like that's not good. That doesn't happen in golf because that 75-yard shot is landing in rough or landing in a really bad spot. Or now your second shot, also getting up and down from 75 yards is just way harder in golf than it is in disc golf.
It's like impossible.
Yeah, but to answer your question, there are holes out there that you're like, you know what? Birdie's off the table. I can't birdie it. And you just make it so easy for people to play super safe and par. And so that is my big criticism of that. And we'll get into that later.
The whole course is like that.
Yeah, let's table the course design here for a second because we got to jump into this thing first, though, Yuli. PDGA announces Champions Cup is moving once again. So the initial plan was, okay, these beetles, they're taking down these trees. No worries, guys. You pay us millions of dollars with your membership fees. No worries. We will take care of it. We will still make a championship major level course out here. No problem. Well, that timeline got pushed back to where they had to go to Northwood and we have to have the major there. That major was, in my opinion, super well received. I feel like the people that the players loved it. I think the spectators on the ground loved it. I think
except for the double round in one day.
Yeah, the weather was terrible. That was bad. But I think the spectators at home, the fans at home loved it. I feel like everyone really liked it. And you almost got to see like, oh, Champions Cup. Okay, it's this wooded major at WR Jackson. But is it really that like challenging? Not really. Guys are able, I mean, Paul shot what, 16 under out there. People are shooting 12, 13 under. It's not really that challenging. And I think when we want to see majors, we get to see people shoot 30 under rounds, 40 under rounds in these 3 to 4 round tournaments every week. So we get to a major, Yuli. Let's see people sweat. And I think that's what people saw at Northwood and they loved it. And now the PDGA says, timeout. Let's just go to a golf course. So what are your thoughts on this move?
Well, I think the original plan was actually for it to get bidded out. It was never supposed to be a one spot major. So
okay,
So since the first year, they were supposed to ship it out the next year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was so well received, and I think, and I don't know for sure, but my little birdies were telling me that it was tipping to the point of, no, it's going to be at the PDGA headquarters every single year. That's just my opinion. I think that it would be smart for them to do that. And then the Beatles came and ruined everything. We went to Jackson and then Stockton won the bid for the major. Mm-hmm. So now we have another golf course major coming in.
Here's my issue, because I think there's a lot of people that are up in arms with the move, and I actually think a lot of the a lot of the move is good. Like I think OTB, the people that run the tournament out there, Sean Jack and Sean Mercy, who will be the co-tournament directors of the Champions Cup, they run. It's one of the most shop. It's one of the most professional.
Yep.
Like we actually have like just small things for the players. We actually have player parking that is separated with like fencing. They actually have a great warm-up area. They have a nice hole 1 situation. They've got a nice parking and like ticket way for like spectators that come in. It is really a well-run tournament. So it's going to be a really well-run major. Also, having a major out on the West Coast, I think that's super nice. All of our majors right now are heavily on the East Coast, or they are in Europe, right? So having a major out on the West Coast, I think, is also going to be nice. I think they will be able to buff up the course out there. I'm hoping. They definitely can. It's whether or not they will. But it is possible that they can buff up the course and make the course really, really challenging. So that's all fine and dandy. I don't have any problems with that. My big issue here is Champions Cup needs to have some sort of identity. They need to have something. European Open, you're in Europe. We're playing European courses. It's way different over there. We got European crowds. That's its own thing. USDGC, tons of OB, tons of challenge. Hole 17, the qualifier, how do you get in? All those things play into that. World Championship, it's the biggest tournament. It's the most important thing. You're playing 2 courses. A lot of times it is a wooded course, and a lot of times it is an open course. So you get to see who is the best overall disc golfer that weekend. Champions Cup really had an opportunity to fit that niche of the wooded major. And now by going to a non-wooded course, like that's where it's like I thought they missed the boat. Is they could have easily said, you know what? I get it. And I get people saying like, hey, you have to put bids in. We're not in control of the bid situation of like who wants to run it. And like, that's where I ask, if there's a lack of bids, should the PDGA be looking at themselves and saying, hey, why aren't more people wanting to hold a major? Look in the mirror, PDGA. If we go back a little bit to the Worlds debacle that was Utah, what did the PDGA do? They turned it around and said, no, it's on all these people. It's not us. This tournament doesn't suck because of us. It's all these people. And they put it on the volunteers. They put it on all like the local people and said like all these people are the reason why the tournament's not running well. So like that's where I think like the lack of bids, like I think the PGA needs to look at themselves in the mirror and say, maybe the lack of bids is because people don't want to work with us. Why would you want to like take that risk?
I can't speak to that. I have no idea what it's like to run a big tournament with the PDGA.
It ain't easy, I bet.
I don't know. Do we have somebody who's done it? And they can give us a little perspective.
Yeah, maybe that should be like a future guest. Is we can maybe have
like what is it like to work with the PDGA in these situations? Somebody who's not obviously running one right now, because it's going to be all flowers and
we need someone that's willing to talk freely on the matter 100%. and not sugarcoat stuff.
I'm with you though. I wish that they would have kept it wooded. I feel like that could have been its identity, like you said, like, and it just sucks that it's not. And the thing that I worry about is with the course is like, okay, how are you going to make it harder? And it's always one answer on golf courses: make it longer. And that's sad to me.
Yeah,
I think that's sad to me.
Yeah, I mean it was weird timing too, like doing it right before right before OTB Open that's at the same course. I don't know. It all seems weird to me.
Is there going to be an OTB Open next year as well?
I don't think you can.
You're not allowed to.
That's why they could do like the weird thing that Nate Heinold's trying to do, where it's like you play a different layout, so technically it's a different course.
Yeah.
Because if you just play the same course, you can't have.
You just change like one hole and
Yeah, that's my question is like, what's the wording?
What's the
like how much?
Yeah.
Because that's why I think Northwood changed. I mean, obviously, I think hole 18 was a better kind of spectator hole potentially than last hole 18 at Northwood. But like that's what I was kind of speculating is like, were the changes at Northwood simply just so they could maybe have Ledgestone at Northwood and Eureka?
Right.
Because they're like, whoa, we're playing a different course. We're not playing these couple holes here, you know? I don't know. Be interesting. But Shay says Jimmy McAvin from Iron Hill would be interesting. That crew broke their backs to improve the course, and then the tour never came back. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. You remember that? Iron Hill?
One of my favorite places.
Yeah. They went there and then they just never came back. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, Shay, maybe get in contact with him and have him reach out to me or Yuli on Instagram. Have him shoot us like a DM on Instagram, and that would be really sweet. So, okay. Well, let's jump into OTB Open here. Calvin Heimburg's good at disc golf, Yuli.
Yeah, really good.
I think we had a shiny new toy in front of us with AB this season, and I think a lot of us kind of were like, oh my God, AB. And it's easy to do. He throws far. He's got all the shots. It's easy to do. But I think Calvin was like, wait a second, guys. I'm still the best disc golfer in the world. And, you know, back to back, I think he's definitely has obviously proven that. Winning these two events back to back. I want to say, did he park? Did you guys ever find out that maybe Edwin can find that? Did he park a quarter of the holes?
I have no idea.
I thought I heard that somewhere that he parked a quarter of the holes, which is just it's very good when you just have what would that end up being?
Like
what 12 or 14 holes? 25% park rate. So that's like 14 drop-in birdies or something. That's like literally like 12 or 13 of your birdies, you're literally just dropping in the basket.
That's ridiculous.
For a 3-day tournament.
I don't think I had any.
I want to say maybe I had one, maybe two. Kind of nuts. Also currently has the longest active cash streak at 44 events. Yuli. Last missed cash, I want to say like 2022 at Las Vegas Challenge, I believe was the tournament. But I'm going to roll through the final round here because this, I think, was a very interesting final round. And you stop me and jump in if you have anything to interject or say.
Okay.
But I'm going to kind of do some highlights and lowlights of this round because I thought this round was very interesting. Start of this round, I think there was 4 people and really just 3 that actually had a chance to win this round, win this tournament. I think Calvin, obviously, Gavin, and Sully. There goes the balloons. Those 3, I think, had a legitimate shot of winning. I think Ezra had like an outside shot, but he had to start early. He had to get off with like 4 birdies in the first 5 holes, 5 birdies through the first 6. He needed to get a super hard start. Everyone else, though, I think was too far back. Because even Ezra was already, I think, 3... I think Ezra was 3 shots back from Gavin to start. And a course like that, it's just going to be really tough to make up that many strokes, especially if you have 3 guys in front of you that you have to pass, right? So Ezra starts his round the exact opposite way you want to start your round. 3 putts the first hole. I mean, I guess put yourself in his shoes. Has that ever happened to you of where... Because I remember the night before we were at the Airbnb and we were looking at scores and I was like, you know, he played really well round 2. And I was like, where do you think you're going to end up? And he's like, I think top 10. And, you know, 15, 20 minutes go by and I'm like, I think you might actually make chase card, Ezra. Another 5 or 10 minutes go by and I'm like, you might be on lead card. And so there was this kind of, I don't know if that had a psyche going into it. But I mean, you talk me through what's going on with Ezra's head here. Very uncharacteristic of him to 3-putt the first hole there.
Well, I don't mind the way it happened. He sent a putt, which he does.
Yep.
You're going to have nerves. He sends it over the top of the basket. I like that better than yanking it right, yanking it left, getting a roll or something unlucky and then missing. He just straight powered it right over the top and then left him another putt of the same distance. I mean, I didn't think after he did that his chances were over because of the firepower that he has and these rounds that he's been dropping. So a bogey on hole 1 doesn't hurt you. But when you've never won before,
yes,
it kills you.
That's okay. Good.
Because immediately you're thinking, oh, yeah, this is what I do. This is why I don't win. Hole 1.
Yeah, my notes literally say Ezra 3 putts hole 1. He's now 5 shots behind Gavin, 4 behind Calvin. Chance to win over. That's literally my notes.
It's the truth, though.
I think if you would have, if you take Calvin out, though.
Wait, let me dive into this a little bit more
yeah.
too, because this is important. I think if I'm in that situation, like let's say I'm Calvin, I believe there is some chess going on, and there's confidence being exchanged through the card that people don't realize, right? So when you start the round, there's different things that happen during the round, and we call it momentum, but it's actually like confidence being exchanged through the card, right? Like, okay, I have momentum, I have the confidence, this is what's going to happen. I can only say this at like smaller events because I don't win big tournaments, but I do have experience winning at smaller events, right? And when there's somebody on my card and let's say that he makes the lead card, I already know if I play good, I'm going to beat that guy, right?
Yeah.
If he bogeys the first hole, he just gave me his confidence. I own that now. And I'm going to hold on to that through the whole entire round because I know in a big situation, he might do that again. So I won't ever give up. I won't ever get down. And then I have control over the card. You can't do that with people like Calvin because he knows that's who you are, right? After hole 1. Now, if Ricky bogeys the first hole, doesn't do anything to Calvin, right? Because they have exchanged this momentum through 100 rounds and they're proven winners. That's why I'm saying he's done after the first hole. That's the reason. Ricky's proven to be a winner. Winners can bogey the first hole. Until you can prove that you can win, that's just the way that it works.
Yeah, and I would say too, he is also thinking in his head like Calvin's not going to just like let me back in. Right. Gavin is up there. Like Gavin's a wild card. So if Calvin would have got replaced with someone else, that is kind of like, hey, this is my first time trying to win a big event. Let's put like Robert Burge, for example, who had a phenomenal. Was that round 2 that he had a phenomenal round? I think
same round.
Yeah, phenomenal round 2 from Robert. Like if that's Robert and Gavin, like we've seen Robert once in that position, and that was against Simon, right? And to be fair, like he actually did hold his own pretty well. But if I'm Ezra, I'm liking Robert in that position a lot more than having to track down Calvin now that I'm, 4 shots behind Calvin, 5 behind Gavin.
Yep.
He proceeds then to hit first available on hole 2, which definitely does not, like you said, does not help his confidence level at all. His second shot on hole 2 probably should have gone to OB, but it like got caught up by the long grass there, so he got kind of lucky to stay there. Now here we'll get back to Ezra here in a little bit because he does actually kind of fight his way back into it a little bit later. But here's the big storyline: Gavin and putting when there's pressure. We've had him on the show. He's talked about it. He's talked about how a camera shows up. He recognizes that the camera's there. I think it was, what tournament was it that we had him on where I was like, did you know the camera was there because you're playing so well and then you missed
Austin, I think. Was it Austin?
It might have. He missed that birdie putt as soon as the camera showed up. And so this is not something new. This is definitely 100% something that Gavin's got to work through and kind of get over the hump. He misses birdie putts, Yuli, on hole 3. And I'm not talking about like 45, 50, 60 footers. I'm talking inside circle birdie putts, inside of 33 feet. Hole 3, 4, 6, and 9. He misses 4 putts for birdie inside the circle on the front 9. I mean, you're just
like 4 under.
Yeah, I know, but you're just not going to beat Calvin. You're not going to beat Calvin when you do that. No. You can miss 1.
Just like I said, because you're exchanging confidence. I mean, I think that's the biggest knock on Calvin is the competitors know, like, hey, if I'm close, like, Calvin might miss a couple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The same knock was on AB for the longest time.
Yeah, 100%.
Down the stretch, he missed the 25 footers, and that's how you lose tournaments, man.
Yeah, you're never out of it because you never know if AB is going to have a blow up hole where he's just going to putt back and forth 3 times. Now, Calvin does blunder a little bit on hole 6, which I think is one of the easier. We talked about earlier at the top of the show where I threw it OB on my second shot like a nincompoop. But I think hole 6, if you get off the tee on hole 6,
it's the easiest hole on the course.
It's the easiest hole. As long as you just get anywhere off, you can't hit one of the first trees on the tee, which are actually really hard to do. But if you just get off, easiest birdie on the course. And Calvin ended up blundering. Doesn't get the birdie on hole 6. Ezra actually gets the eagle, throws a really nice second shot, makes a putt. His putting is actually starting to warm up a little bit. He makes some pretty good putts here in this round after the 3-putt debacle on hole 1. But Calvin kind of opens the door just a little bit there.
He gave 3 to him.
Yeah, he goes OB. He throws a pretty bad. Was it his second or third shot? Second shot.
It was his third. No, his third shot's the one that went OB.
Yeah, his second shot though, he kind of like turns over and doesn't get that much distance. Then blasts one's deep OB, misses the putt for par, and makes a bogey. So
see, and that's where Ezra makes it. Gavin misses it.
Gavin misses there. Yes, that's another one where it's like Gavin's right there. It's like, okay, Calvin, open the door. Like, step on his throat. That's where you guys step on his throat, and he just clanks it off the basket. And you're just like, oh man, it's right there for the taking. We're gonna fast forward to hole 10 now. Gavin misses another birdie putt on hole 9, but we're going to hole 10. Calvin turns it over on hole 10, and now is another moment where it's like, okay, Gavin, step up, throw a shot, and he does the same exact thing right after Calvin turns it over. On a hole, that hole where it's like that water is right behind the basket. Ezra actually went super aggressive, which I think he had to there, right? He goes OB. He's got to try and make that par putt to somehow stay in it. He ends up going OB again, doubles. He's gone. See ya, deuces. But Gavin, you got to get one close there, right? You got to get one close there, at least to give yourself a birdie putt.
Again, that's one of those holes where if you want a birdie, you're going to have to bring bogey into play. I don't mind him. Listen, I don't mind.
More safe there, you think?
I don't mind him playing safe as well. Okay. I think if Calvin puts one close, then you kind of have to go after it. But if he doesn't, then it's okay to miss right. I think the miss is right there and take the par because he still had the lead at that point, right?
Yeah, I think he was up maybe 1 or so.
That's fine. When you're playing with a lead, you don't have to go after holes like that.
The thing that's crazy to me, though, is...
But here's the thing.
He was the exact opposite.
Yes, but on the hole prior, he could have made the putt and been up by 2.
No, I agree. I mean, he could have made all 4 of those putts and been up by like 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like he could have been coasting in for a win on the back 9 if he makes all those putts on the front 9. Yeah. That's where that's the only reason I think he needs to kind of go aggressive there, because again, we kind of talk about this a little bit. You wake up the next morning, you wake up on Monday morning getting second place. Do you want to think in yourself, man, I did all that I could and I just didn't execute the shots? Or holy cow, I kind of played safe. Like, what if? Like, I feel like if you play safe, you're going to have those what ifs, no?
I'm going to say that I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think he just turns it over on purpose. I think that's the correct, when I say miss, that's the correct miss. Calvin missed to the right. I'm sure he was thinking, okay, if I throw this perfect, I get the circle's edge and then I make my putt. And I think
I was making sure you weren't saying that you thought the layup there or playing safe there.
No. I don't.
Okay.
I can't imagine somebody doing that. Like
not on that hole,
unless it's like your game plan. You know, like we've seen sometimes we've seen Gannon do that. Like just stick to his guns and like lay up on a hole to where we're like, well, I don't know, you could probably birdie that, but I think he was probably going after that hole and just threw a bad shot.
Sullivan ends up actually closing the gap a little bit. Like at this point in time, it seems like it's gonna be Calvin. But Sullivan actually closes the gap a little bit. He on the next hole, he ends up birding there, which is nice, but he could have closed the gap so much more on hole 10. He had a birdie putt on hole 10, like inside of 20 feet, and he clanks it. Like we were seeing, Yuli, a bunch of guys that want to win so bad their first time, and like the nerves get. I mean, it's 100% nerves. Like these guys aren't missing putts inside the circle this often.
No, but that's just what happens. Like somebody's got to miss and somebody's got to make it in order to win it. It's very rare that we see somebody just go blow for blow all the way down the stretch and win the tournament. I mean, think about Jonesboro. Like AB should have been out of it, and it was just hot potato with that title. You know, I've said
the last time we saw was European Open.
Yeah,
with Paul and Eagle.
Yeah,
like that was the last time where you just like you saw two people just
good.
Incredible. Yeah,
yeah. I think that one thing people have to understand is there's this like mystical thing that we put on our great players, like the clutch gene. Like he's so clutch. I think that's hilarious because there's nobody who chokes more than the top 5 guys in the world. There's nobody.
Because they lose so much. Yeah.
They lose so much. You know what I mean? Like Calvin loses. He's the biggest choke artist in the world because he loses all the time. You get what I'm saying?
You can't be a choke artist if you never put yourself in a position to choke.
Exactly. like Gannon's a big choke artist because he gets into the position and then he loses.
Yeah.
And these guys are only winning.
Ricky's a choke artist in majors.
You get what I'm saying? Like there's 4 or 5 great players who win, and they're like these clutch guys. But really, if you look at it, then why aren't they winning? Like Paul McBeth, clutch gene. You know why? Because he went seasons where he only lost like 2 times ever. You get what I mean? Like he did it for seasons. Like Ricky's won 4, 5, 6 in a row, and we look at that like AB at the beginning of the year, clutch gene. He did it multiple times. Now Calvin, clutch, yes. But eventually one of them's like Calvin's going to choke one away because you just miss putts at the end and you mess up and you choke one away. And so I think I've always thought that was funny, that the perspective is like, oh my gosh,
this guy's
these guys
clutch.
are so good, clutch under pressure. And it's like no, these guys are just great.
Yeah,
that's all that. Like they're just great, and they give themselves opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But winning's hard, and being under pressure and putting is really hard to do. It's really hard to just make it all the time.
Imagine if they made the basket smaller. Calvin opens the door yet again by missing his birdie putt on hole 12. I thought this was choked it away. I thought this was a moment for Gavin also to kind of put a little bit more pressure on Calvin. He ends up going OB, just throws the backhand, which I thought was interesting. Did you find that was interesting that he decided to go backhand there with how good of his forehand is?
On which hole? Sorry, I was drinking.
On hole 12, the island hole.
Yes, I thought.
I was surprised he went backhand.
I think
green's so much harder to hold coming in right to left.
Yeah, it can be. I think the wind was kind of favorable, and I think they just misjudged it. It was like lifting instead of like pushing you straight, which I think.
Shay, he's throwing forehands, brother. I'm talking about Gavin. He said he's still injured, Brodie. Calvin's not throwing big forehands.
Yeah.
Gavin's throwing big forehands. He threw multiple big forehands.
Yeah.
That last round.
Yeah, I thought that was surprising, but I don't know. I think that they're both pretty easy. And I personally, if I was caddying for Gavin, I would rather see somebody. I thought the forehand was a sucker play.
Oh, did you?
I did. Everybody that I saw that was throwing the sidearms were barely holding the green deep, because you have to throw it either wide and high in order to stick it. But then when it bounces, because of the wind, it was bouncing deep. And I saw a bunch of people
they definitely played later than I did that day.
You know what I mean? I think
the wind might have changed.
The backhand, the way that it was coming in, was giving you a lot of ground to work with left, if that makes sense. But I don't know.
I played early in the morning, all 3 rounds, so it was a pretty big headwind for me. So I felt more comfortable throwing a forehand into that headwind.
I was curious, since you played early on Saturday, was it windy?
It was windy all 3 days.
Because when we played, to shoot 13 under in that wind, like I was looking, I didn't look at the scores, and then I checked it out, and I was like, that's not real.
It was the least amount of wind on Saturday morning, but it was still windy. I mean, it's still, you have a 20-footer, you're still thinking about the wind.
Right.
Hole 14, we're going to skip 13. They all end up throwing great shots on hole 13, but hole 14, Calvin and Gavin both throw poor tee shots, which was a little bit surprising to me. But Gavin ends up making a massive par save. To me, that was a big confidence thing that he can take back. Because you miss that putt, and it's over. Like you're too far down, it's over. It makes a huge putt. Sully actually takes the only birdie on hole 14, and now he's within 3, which, 15, 16, 17, 18, 3 shots. Like 17 is a 2-shot hole, one of the few 2-shot holes. 16 weird stuff can happen. So 3 a stretch, but still in the mix now. So those 3 guys
out, you definitely are applying pressure.
1,000%.
You're applying pressure for sure.
Yeah. Gavin hits first available on hole 16. That's tough. That's one of the few holes that's designed in a way of where, like, if you don't get off the tee, you're screwed.
Oh yeah, I doubled it because I didn't miss the Mando. I hit the tree and I didn't miss the Mando. Double bogey.
That hole's brutal. If you don't get out that tunnel, that hole is there's so many holes where you can hit first available and still par, no problem. That hole, if you hit first available, a par is very hard. It's almost not going to happen. So he ends up hitting first available. Calvin ends up actually missing a birdie putt on 16 that probably would have closed the door. So the door is a little bit open there, but Gavin throws a great shot on hole 17, that power sidearm. That's the shot I thought he should have thrown on hole 12. That power overstable sidearm comes in, but throws a great shot on hole 17. And then Calvin, just an absolute madman, runs that putt on hole 17, cashes it in, takes the dub. And those are the putts that I see some people maybe lay up on 17.
I don't think it's that diabolical of a green. I didn't see anybody airball a putt out of bounds there. There's a lot of green to work with.
There is, but can you see? Do you think everyone's running that putt? No. Okay, there's a difference between running that putt to try to make it and like being like, oh, if I miss, I'll still be okay because I'm running it a certain way, and doing your normal putt. Like he did his normal putt. And I think a lot of people there do like a little bit of an adjusted putt to be like, just in case, right?
I just don't. He has that sort of putt that he's able to do that. Like it's not like his putt doesn't like just float 100 feet by the basket. Like it's got a nice little speed on it. When's the last time you saw Calvin spit out?
I know he does. He doesn't have a lot of spit outs. He does. The only time is like when he misses high.
He almost
high
did right there. Actually, go rewatch it.
Close.
That like hit and like barely caught on the rim.
That
was such a dirty putt, man.
Yeah, I mean that's
dead center. Game over.
Clutch. It's very clutch.
Clutch, yes. But he did miss a 5-footer on the hole prior.
Not 5 foot.
Dude, he was. Did you watch it?
It was like 18 feet, 15 feet, 18 feet. Give him 18 feet.
Okay, what's the difference between that and 5? It's pretty.
At that level, not that much, but we're going to give him 18 feet. We also, we saw a lot of course changes. I think now is a good time to jump into that. I do want to go down the leaderboard a little bit. Let's go down the leaderboard first.
Oh, before we do that, shout out to Calvin for taking it down and absolutely just,
of course,
back-to-back wins. That's pretty sick, man.
In the field that we have now, yes.
It's sick, yeah. Just consistent play, throwing great shots, and being able to miss putts like that and winning, it's a rare thing these days. He does it, man. He's so good.
Oh, yes. Okay, let's hit Silas with the ad read, and then we'll go down the leaderboard a little bit. So, Silas, here's your big moment.
All right, here we go. Hey there, beach babes. Are you ready to soak up the summer vibes and unveil your ultimate beach bod? Well, you're in luck because our friends over at Manscaped have covered you from head to toe with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. This ultimate all-in-one grooming kit is set to have you looking and feeling your best in the summer sun. Trust Manscaped and unlock the confidence you need to turn heads this season. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for 20% off and free shipping with code TOURLIFE. Let's make the summer your smoothest one yet. Embrace your summer bod goals with our all-inclusive Performance Package 5.0. Perfect for those aiming for that crisp, clean, and confident look. The updated Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and Body Hair Trimmer got a summer makeover. It's waterproof, designed for splashy pool parties and beach hangouts. Keep your ears and nose as tidy as your hedges next door with our Weed Whacker 2.0 Ear and Hair Nose Trimmer. Pesky hair, be gone. Post-trim care never felt so good with the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion. Say goodbye to painful chafing and hello to all-day comfort. For those sunny beach days, don't leave home without the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. Let the sun see you shine, not sweat. Our Magic Mat, not the 5.0, just the Magic Mat. Disposable shaving mats got your back and front and everything else that needs grooming. It's like having a magician in your bathroom. Surprise! Your purchase comes with free Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo, comfort and style that fit like a dream. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code TOURLIFE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code TOURLIFE at manscaped.com. Man, that's harder than it looks. That's harder than it looks.
Exactly. Why are we reading a whole novel every single episode? All right, that'll be something that we'll talk about in the future. Let's go down the leaderboard here a little bit. Talk about some other people. So Calvin obviously taking it down. Gavin ended up losing only by 2 shots. Yuli, again, we go back to those 4 putts that he missed in the front 9. You never know. Randon Lotta, absolute monster final round. 12 birdies, 1 eagle to shoot 13 under, which I believe is now the course record at Swinson Park.
Well, 2 different course records because
the new course.
Yeah,
and then Ezra has the course record at, well, because he's kind of whack because the hole's different.
Yeah,
and I don't like that.
Me neither.
I definitely don't like that. But I also don't love the idea that we play a par 4 and then a par 5. But we'll get into that later. Gavin Babcock, great final round, shoots 10 under. Final round to jump him up 7 spots to finish in the top 5. Sullivan Tipton holds on to a top 5 finish, shooting 22 under par for the entire tournament. Ricky moves up 15 spots, shooting 11 under final round. Great final round. 11 birdies, no pars, 11 birdies, no bogeys. Ezra still played kind of well for some of the struggles there, taking a double, a bogey on 16, a bogey on hole 1, like we discussed, still finishing in the top 10. Ezra Robinson, Zachary Nash, who has an absolute cannon for a forehand. So no surprise that he was able to just launch his forehand around that course. Good finish for him. Garrett Gerthy, haven't been talking much about Garrett Gerthy this year. Great finish for Garrett Gerthy. Top 10, as well as Andrew Marweed, also finishing the top 10 with Robert Burge as well. So great top 10. Good to see Eagle back.
Yeah.
After, a really poor performance at Champions Cup. Good to see him have a great tournament. Tied for 13th with our world champion, Isaac Robinson, as well. Colt Montgomery had a great tournament. Gannon Burr's up there. Anthony Barella, incredible tournament. Aaron Gossage, ooh, absolute was on a heater. Had in the middle of the course, he had 10 birdies. 10 birdies out of 11 holes in the middle of the course.
I didn't see that.
Just absolute nasty. Hole 4 to hole 15 took 1 par.
That's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. And then ends up bogeying hole 17 or hole 16 and then doubles hole 18. Otherwise, I think he would have probably jumped. That would have jumped him probably in a top 10 finish as well. Yeah. He loves this course. He does really well out here, obviously being in contention for winning it last year. Paul Macbeth, good to see him back, right? Little Signs was in the lead after round 1. Sure got everyone probably jacked up with that. I don't know really if we want to take too much away with his final round. Final round was not good. He shot 10 under, 7 under, final round shot 3 under. I don't know if we want to really take that much away from it.
Missed a bunch of putts.
Okay.
Yeah, he missed a bunch of putts the whole tournament.
But he looks like he's throwing well. So good to see him back up towards the top of the leaderboard. Casey White's been playing great. Jesse Nieneman, who's coming off of his win over in Europe, finishing 21st. Let's see who else we got on here. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anyone else you want to shout out here? Any other names?
No. Surprising to see Nicholas down the leaderboard. Surprising to see Matty O.
Yeah.
But no.
A tournament like this too, where being on the West Coast, not everyone travels out here. So you're going to see a lot of people at the bottom of the leaderboard that you've never heard of before. A lot of local guys or guys kind of just in the West Coast area coming out to this one. So for the most part, everyone pretty much finished in like the top 80, like the tour card holders, all finished pretty much in the top 80. The cut line was top 46. And that was Jacob Curtis, Luke Sampson, Joseph Anderson, and Max, all finishing on the cut line and making it in. So congratulations to those guys. But yeah, overall tournament, we'll run through. You want to run through the FPO and then we'll talk the course design a little bit here?
Sure.
So FPO, you had Ella Hansen winning by 7. Something that we're seeing a little bit more often here on the FPO side, where someone just like absolutely runs away with it. Kat Murch in second, Holland Hanley in third. Holland Hanley shot 3 over the final round. You have to go all the way down to 17th place to find the next person that shot over par. So everyone shot even or better in the top 17. So just did not have her stuff. That's got to be 100% be nerves.
Yeah.
100%.
That is, yeah.
She was averaging 10 under the first 2 rounds and then shoots 3 over. So definitely 100% nerves. Paige Pierce making a little bit of a statement, finishing the top 5. I believe this is her best finish of the season.
It is. Yeah.
So nice to see. But really the big storyline to me here, obviously Ella Hansen, congratulations. She's been so close. She probably should have won Waco a couple of years ago. There's a couple other tournaments that she was right there. But I think to me, the big storyline in all this is FPO really needs the European players in their events. I don't think the field is deep enough.
No, I agree. Of course, we need the European play more, but there's no arguing that. But I do think that Ella has the game to take anybody down at any weekend.
No, her game is solid, and like I said, I think it's in between the ears for her, because we've seen her play with Evelina, with Kristin, with all the European players, and go toe to toe, and then make a couple bad decisions or a couple bad throws down the stretch.
This could be like a AB situation.
Ooh, you're right. Ooh.
She tastes a little victory and then she likes the way it tastes. Because I she throws farther than everybody in the field.
I think, yeah.
No, she does.
Farther than Evelina too? Okay.
I don't know. You're talking like, I'm talking course distance managing.
Yeah.
Like
I would say Evelina is the only one that's probably close.
Well, Hannah.
Oh, Hannah too.
Hannah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hannah bombs. Jeez, you're right.
But I'm pretty sure I've seen her play, man. It goes out faster than.
And she's got a good sidearm too.
Yep. And
really
her putt's good, man. A nice spinny putt. She can make them from deep. That's one thing that I really look at with the FPO field is how far does their range get? You know what I mean? Because for the longest time, my biggest knock on the field was they can't make anything outside of 35 feet. Like that's a tough distance for them to go. And I think Kristin really has a stronghold on the field because she makes all those putts and she can make 3-4 bonuses around.
Yes. Her, I would say own, and then Missy, I would also maybe put in that. Paige too. Paige jump putt.
Just think about the people who make
all
we
the
can
top
talk
players.
about the consistency, sidearm, backhand combo, whatever you want to go.
Putts.
But I think when you look at the field and you look at who wins, look at their range.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right.
It goes deep.
You're 100% right, because if you're having to throw inside of 35 feet to make a birdie every time, you're giving yourself so many less opportunities. Because I think too the courses are getting harder on the FPO side, and I
think that's what is our big knock on the European players. That's why we talk about their putting every single time, because if they make just in their inside the circle putts, they're winning the tournaments. You know what I mean?
So this graphic got posted around. If the 2024 FPO season, which I thought this is also very interesting to me, because it's like, why don't they ever do this at like the end of the? Now, obviously, not everyone plays the same events, and that's probably why. But that would be fascinating to bring up of like, who's the player of the year? Well, let's just add up all the scores throughout the entire year and see who took the least amount of strokes. So if the 2024 FPO season was one event, and this is after the Copenhagen Open, Kristin Tattar would be at 104 under par. Evelina would be at 80. Owen Scoggins would be at 75. Missy Gannon would be at 57. Holland Hanley would be at 51. Hannah would be at 41. And Heidi Laney would be at -3. Now, I have to think, I didn't check the stats myself. I have to think, Yuli, that they just put these down top to bottom. Now, why did they decide to have 7 in there and show like a massive gap between Hannah and Heidi to be like, hey, after these 6 players, the field just drops off? I don't know who made the executive decision there.
Yeah.
But that just kind of shows a little bit of a snapshot, I guess, of just how far ahead some of these FPO players are from the rest of the field.
Yep.
It's crazy. All right, some bad, sad news here coming out of Kristin Tattar. She went to Instagram and posted a couple days ago saying, with a heavy heart, I must share unfortunate news. I've suffered an injury that will keep me away from the disc golf course for at least 4 weeks. In a freak accident amidst our home renovation, I stumbled among scattered items, resulting in a broken rib. After consulting with some wonderful doctors, I've decided to prioritize my recovery, leading to my withdrawal from the Portland Open and Beaver State Fling. Though I eagerly anticipated the U.S. trip, I understand that life throws unexpected challenges. I'll use this time to heal and return stronger. I'll likely resume playing at the Crookhole Open starting on July 12th. Is she writing this, Yuli, or does she have someone writing this?
She's not writing.
Okay.
I don't know. I love, with a heavy heart. That doesn't sound something like she would say.
I love Kristin.
Speed too.
I love Kristin. We got to talk about this. There are people out there that have people posting for them on social media. Sure. That's not her talking. There's no way no one talks like that.
People from Estonia don't say with a heavy heart, I don't think.
I stumbled across some items. I fell and jacked up my rib. That's what happened.
I broke my rib when we were
but yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It might be. Who knows?
Bad news. I mean, she was one of the most like formal speaking interviews we've ever had on here.
Oh,
but
yeah. Well spoken.
Bad news there for the FPO. Bad news for the FPO there.
Bad news for disc golf.
Bad news for disc golf. Yeah, I agree. And hopefully this isn't something that I've never had a broken rib, or at least I don't think I've ever had a broken rib.
Multiple.
Lingering, could we potentially see something 4 or 5 months from now, or is it?
I mean, she's going to be sore, but no. Listen, a broken rib is brutal. You can't breathe. You can't sleep on your side. You have to sleep on your back. Because you have to do that, your body's not used to it, and you can get like pneumonia because you're not breathing correctly from your back, and you can't like take deep breaths, dude. It's miserable. But I definitely played after I broke my rib.
Okay, so there isn't anything that we're going to be like 6 months from now.
You got to get X-rays to make sure that it's not like a complete fracture, because if that's the case, you're going to be out for a long time. And if it's like chipped in the wrong spot, it can puncture your lung with a bad move. And then that's super dangerous, but that's a super rare case, but you should get X-rays.
Is 4 weeks. Do we think that's like it's not as bad then?
No.
Because it could
4
be
weeks is about when you can start doing stuff. It's still going to hurt.
No, I'm saying like, could you have a broken rib and be like, hey, I'm out for 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not as serious. It's not as serious as it could have been. So that's good.
100%.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's talk course changes here. Let's talk course changes. We were met with some course changes. I actually love the course designer out there too. I think he does a great job. Too. I think he's constantly like actually thinking about consequences. And I remember I chatted with him a little bit this week. And he was just talking about, because the first time I went out there, I was telling him, I was like, hey, listen, I love this course. It's a lot of fun. But right now, you're able to kind of just throw it wherever you want. And there's really no consequences. Like there's no like, oh man, that's going to be really tough from over there or anything like that. And what we've seen in disc golf is it feels like a lot of like tiptoeing.
Yeah, let me know when you're done so I can jump in.
Sure. Yeah. But we've seen a lot of tiptoeing. We've seen it with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We've seen it with the PDGA. We've seen it with course designers. We've seen a lot of like, okay, we want to change and do something, but we're just going to do this and step back, see what everyone thinks. And then maybe we haven't really seen someone that's been like, you know what, this is what we're doing. We're going for it. So that's what I felt like, there were small little changes here and there, but there wasn't this like, oh man, this thing they just blew this place wide open.
I agree. I think there's levels to course design. The first level that I see on the tour is, there's levels of course design on the tour. I'll say that. The first one is the course designer makes you want to hit a tough gap, right? So the tee shot is where the expensive currency is. And then after that, you can do whatever you want, pick or choose your shot into the green. I see that a lot. I see course designers think, okay, I'm going to make tough birdies. And that is something I don't really enjoy that much, just a tough birdie. This is like a distant shot. Like we saw people play with it. I think, what was it, like 2 years ago, where we were having like 600-foot par threes. And it was like, okay, this is kind of silly.
Portland Open. Like Portland Open was one of those holes. Yeah.
The DDO had that one hole that was like insane. And I think finally that everybody was like, okay, this isn't good. In my opinion, what I would like to see with course design, and I'm not going to say stroke and distance because everybody's so sick of hearing that from me, but let's look at it at a different light. I love the course design at OTB. I really think he did a good job of making tough birdies. But I don't like a hole where it's either birdie or bogey. And that's what there is a lot out there. The reason I don't like it is because there's an easy way to par. I like a tough birdie, but I also don't think there should be a really hard birdie and a really easy way to make par. You know what I mean? Because then the people are going to get rewarded for their birdie, but if they mess up, they get a bogey, and then the person who's parring along, who can't even get to the holes, is going to beat you. That's silly to me. A really bad shot gives you a par, and a really good shot that's barely off gives you a bogey. And there's multiple holes like that. I don't like that. I think if this course designer can figure out how to make the tee shots, you have to make the tee shot. Otherwise, you're bogeying. And then in order to get the birdie, you have to make great tee shot, great up shot, get a birdie. And there's no way to just be like, I'm going to just play really, really safe and take a par.
You know what it is, Yuli? It's forced carries. It's something that golf has that disc golf hasn't.
Yeah, all kinds of different ways to do it.
But I'm saying forced carry is the easiest way of doing that. You gotta start let's just talk about hole 6 real quick, the par 5.
Yeah.
Right? If you made it to where your second shot, you're throwing over OB. Similar to so this is the perfect example. Size has it pulled up right here. So you guys can see there's OB, and for those listening, there's OB down the right side, there's OB down the left side. It's probably like 150, 200 feet wide fairways. It's a huge fairway. Between that second fairway and that third fairway, and even maybe that second fairway, if they had like a 250 OB, like an artificial lake, whatever you want to say, now all of a sudden, if you throw a bad shot or you're like have a low ceiling, now you have to think like, am I actually going to try to clear all this, or am I going to lay up? Like forced carries is what needs to happen. For those that don't know what forced carry is, you're simply forcing people to have to throw a shot a certain distance. Another hole, Silas, if you can throw up hole 11.
I like that, and I like that because let's say that you mess up, you don't get the force carry or whatever, or even if you do, throwing into that green is really hard to park it. Like you're left with a 20-25 footer for birdie almost every time. And that's what I really enjoyed about that hole. Is yes, it was the easiest hole on the course, but the birdie, I didn't see very many people just park it. They're throwing it into the hill. It's not skipping, and they're left with a 25 footer. I like that.
Just imagine how much harder that hole would be, though.
No, I'm with you.
Instead of throwing 250 foot up shots, people are throwing 350 into that green, right? Hole 11's another perfect example. Par 4, a lot of the big throwers are going over the water, but the guys that can't throw that far, they just throw like this easy hyzer. This is a perfect hole, Yuli, that a lot of people are like, I'm not playing this hole for birdie. And they just play this hole for par. They chip a low hyzer. They throw it into the trees. They chip up, make a par. The guys that are playing this hole for birdie, that's the people that are going OB on their second shot, and they're taking a bogey. So what I would do right here is that water line, I would just go straight across left, and all that is OB now. Or connect where so where that OB, like that point on the left there, Yuli, where that point is, I just connect that down to the water and make all that left side OB. So now you have a very specific landing zone that you have to throw in. And that's where I think this course really could shine, is if they could have more specific landing zones.
What do you think a fair distance is, though, for that? Because let's say it flips and there's
a straight 400 foot carry. Yeah,
but if it flips and there's a straight headwind,
that's where they need to have multiple tee pads.
Exactly.
That's the perfect example of where, hey, this hole's now playing into a headwind. Let's move the tee pad. Let's go up to the shorter tee pad that it's a 375 foot carry.
Yeah.
Because now that's actually playing 420 into the headwind.
Right.
That's the thing that disc golf is missing, is being able to move the tees. Because they do that in golf. They literally look at the forecast in golf and see what the wind is going to be and move the tees according to how the wind is.
See, my favorite design on the course, I don't want to skip your next hole, is 16, because there's no way to really play that safe for par.
No.
It's a great hole.
because they put that OB.
Yep.
They made that OB on the right. That
such a great hole.
The golf green by our disc golf green used to be the only OB. That OB line on the right is new. People could just chuck a shot way out there and then pitch up and make par. You're right. That shot is tough now, Yuli.
Yeah.
Because it's a very specific landing zones. And that's what disc golf needs. You need very specific landing zones. Let's talk about, I think the Mando on hole 3 was a great change.
And let's make it clear to the audience. I don't know if you're on the same page, but there's also needs to be like real gettable holes. There's nothing wrong with a par. Like there's a place for that. There's a place for that in the game. I don't want every single hole to be like hole 16 to where it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm 7 over par. I've played 6 of these already. Like this is impossible. There's
par
places,
should feel good though.
Yes, there's places for real easy holes where you got to get that hole, but there shouldn't be a bunch of them. There shouldn't be a bunch of the hardest holes in the world, but there should be more hard holes than really easy holes.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind having a couple holes where you step up and you're like, I got to get this hole.
Yeah.
I still would love to have some sort of aspect where like if you throw a terrible shot, you can still make a bogey. Because we do play some holes where it's like you can throw an absolute terrible shot and you're always going to walk away with a par. I don't think that's a great disc golf hole, even if it's an easy birdie. But I think the Mando on hole 3 was a good change. I like the hazard on hole 1. I saw multiple people throw into the hazard on hole 1.
I didn't see anybody throw into that thing.
Well, you played later probably than me. But again, it's just a separator.
Hole 2 is a great hole.
Two's a phenomenal hole. And then the only thing I would say is like, I'll say it again. I hate drop zones where it's like a putt. I don't like that at all. Hole 12, I don't know why they decided to do that for hole 12. Super lame. And I think
that it's better to have a drop zone where you can make a putt rather than get the easiest par. It needs to be one or the other. It needs to be makeable putt, or it needs to be you're taking a bogey.
Yeah, like I think you should still be able to. You can still make a par, Yuli, if you go be on 12. You just have to throw it in from 200 feet.
Yeah, no,
you know what
I'm with
saying?
you.
Like to me, that's such an interesting second shot. If you have like a little touchy 200-foot shot at an angle into that green, I would have loved to seen people have to try to do that in the final day. I love hole 9. I think hole 9 is the par 4. And again, this is another thing that disc golf course designers.
Did you like hole 5 real quick?
Oh, 5. Oh, I didn't know. I hated the hazards there because
that's like your thing though.
I think if they were going to do it, Yuli, you got to make everything hazard short because it was random enough to where some bad shots would just kind of get through and some bad shots get. Okay. To me, I think if they would have connected the two and then made everything hazard, which is now a forced carry, which we all love, I think that takes a little bit of the flukiness out.
Yeah.
But to me, I saw multiple bad shots that didn't land there, and then I saw bad shots that landed there. It's like I didn't like that. But because again, none of us are like laying up. It would have been different if that was like
I saw some people lay up.
No, I'm saying it would have been different if that design was like pushed to where now we're trying to land it in that little landing zone. If we're left, we're in the hazard. If we're right in the hazard, like most of us are trying to go past that. So, but let's talk about hole 9 real quick. Size, if you can throw up hole 9 too. The angled fairways, guys, if you're out there, the angled fairways is where it's at. And this actually doesn't even do it. See, I hate their freaking caddy books because it's so much more angled than that, Yuli.
Yeah, it is.
This makes it look like we're like, if you see where the T-pad is, guys, the T-pad is more like where like the MVP is.
Right.
Like that's the angle that we're throwing at. We're not that's a terrible design. But these angled T-pads, angled fairways, Yuli, I absolutely love it because now it's like, do I want to get really far up and try to cut off the angle? It's kind of risky, but I can get closer. What are your thoughts on them changing this from a par 4 to a par 5 on Saturday?
Not a good enough change.
I don't know if I like. Okay, let me go more broad. Do you like the idea of having a hole play a different par on different days?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they should have just moved the tee or moved the basket or both and kept it a par 4 and made because we basically
I don't think anything needs to change with that hole except for bring it in a little closer to the water.
The basket. Ooh,
and
I like that.
And then the better holes that I've ever
that's
played.
a great hole then. Yeah. To me, the problem with it going to a par 5, Yuli, is you literally play it the same way.
Yeah, there's no different. Yeah.
Shot, and now you just add an extra shot. So I like what they were trying to do there, but I would say don't change the pars on holes. Let's keep the pars consistent.
Dude, this course has some of the best holes on tour.
They do. They have so many good holes. So many. That hole is one of my favorite holes on tour.
Me too.
Par 4. And if they moved it, like you said, 10 feet past the water, oh my gosh, that hole gets even more dicier. And see, but to me, you go 10 feet past the water, Yuli, and then you do like 40 feet past that's OB. Because now in your head, that's so many more people are going to throw in the water if there's OB behind that basket. Yeah. If there's no OB, everyone's going to try to land 30 feet behind the basket. Any other course changes you want to talk about? Anything else you want to talk about for the course?
I mean, they did bring in the OB, I think, on hole 2 a little bit, which I thought was good.
They did. Yep. It was tighter. Definitely.
They moved hole 1 into the trees left.
I thought that was better.
That was better. I think they made everything that I saw made it better except for the par 5. I thought that they made 18 easier.
What did they do there?
So it used to be
I thought that
super
was the same.
skinny fairway all the way to the green, remember?
Oh, you're right.
And now you can't, and now you could like land super short.
See, that should just be a forced carry, Yuli.
I agree. Yeah. So
make that all OB so that way everyone.
But I love 18. I think 18 is a great finishing hole. No real easy way to play it for par. It's a good hole.
Marco says, should there be more guarded baskets? There was a couple out there that were kind of guarded.
Oh, that's another thing. Listen to this. I think that they have to add this. The fact that they haven't added this is insane to me. They have to start mapping an actual green. This 30-foot circle is not a green. If you land behind a bush and you have to scuba over the bush to make the putt from 22 feet, it's not the green. What is that hole right after the island hole? What hole is that?
13. Yeah, 13. That's in the trees.
13. If you land behind that big old tree, you don't have a putt. You did not hit the green, in my opinion. The green there is different. It's almost like a what do you call it? A clover.
For those that don't know the size of this tree, me, Aaron, and Ezra all went fingertip to fingertip and barely got our wingspan all around. I mean, this tree is massive.
It's huge. But I think that they need to be mapping the greens. You can have the 30-foot circle for the rule, important.
Yeah.
But that's not a green hit, dude.
For the stats, make the stats better. You're right.
These stats are wrong. These stats are completely wrong because you can be 40 feet and hit a green, and you can be 20 feet and not hit a green, my opinion.
I agree with you.
And sometimes laying up to 45 feet is actually hitting a green. It's just a long putt. And sometimes being really close and having to straddle out and doing like an air bounce or something or hit a tiny gap, you didn't hit a green. That's more of like a trick shot, a pitch shot. You know what I mean? Like on a golf course, that's hit it out of the bunker or something. Like I think that the statistics in our game, the most important statistic that we have as far as being able to win is greens in regulation.
Yeah.
But we don't know what a green in regulation is. It's a 30-foot circle. I mean, we get a broad idea. These guys are putting it close. Yes. But if you actually had the green mapped out, you could even add another stat of who's like chipping it in or making scramble putts. You know what I mean? Like you could have that. Like who's the best? Like who's not making the green and actually making birdies?
Yeah, no, that's good. I think also for the viewer too, Yuli, I think that would be a good thing too, because now you see 2 shots land 25 feet from the basket, but one of them lands on the green and one doesn't. You immediately know that the one that didn't land on the green is going to have a harder putt,
and
even though they're the same distance. He didn't
throw a good shot.
Yes.
Like
no,
I
like that.
Not only is it going to change that aspect of it, but it's going to make the players better understand the green. Like right
now, anyone, if you throw within 30 feet, people get pissed if they don't have an easy putt.
Yes. And then we kind of I think it would make the players better because it would make them better understand, like, I'm not just trying to throw it to 30 feet. I'm trying to throw it into a specific spot to get a putt at the basket. And then this would give tournament directors an opportunity to then allow to have bushes around the basket or whatever close to it, because you're like, no, that's not the green. You threw it there. That's not the green. And then of course you're going to have people be like, oh, I can't believe that there's a bush right next to the green. Well, we don't get mad when there's water right next to the green, like on 17. You're not mad about that.
Yeah,
you don't even get your disc back.
I did lose a machete in there. It was sad.
It's sad, but if you threw it into a bush, you'd be mad. You'd be like, oh, I can't believe I'm in this bush right next to the basket. I can't make a putt. Well, you didn't hit the green, Dumbo.
It also plays too where you can now use my my marble flooring for parts of the you can put one side of the basket all marble flooring. So if your disc lands there, see you later. It's gone.
I don't mind that.
I think they should do that more too.
Because I really believe, and not in order to make it the next step, but it's to add to the
This is where you change the skill level. This is where you really make the best players stand out.
Exactly. Who's actually, like, we know Calvin's good. We know that he's throwing good shots because he's throwing it into the circle. But do we actually know that he's throwing it within 10 feet of where he wants to go?
Yeah, we don't know. Some of these guys too putt so well that we have no idea.
Exactly.
You know, they're cashing in from 45 feet.
Like, people hated the mozzarella sticks at the USDGC. I like that. You didn't hit the green over there, buddy. The green's to the right and short.
Good point.
You know what I mean? And so we're not actively trying to throw it 30 feet to the left of that basket. Well, you're not, because there's OB right there. You're trying to get it to the right side of the bucket and short, I think, so that you have a look at it. I'm trying to land between 45 and 30 feet short of that basket, because if I get to pin high, I might not have a look between there.
The good thing too, Yuli, or the way to also look at it for the mozzarella sticks on that hole at USDGC is whenever someone does throw a shot and it goes over there, they're not like walking up being like,
they're
like, oh
course.
No. But and it's like, you're reacting the same way you would react if you threw a shot OB. Like, you threw a bad shot. You weren't trying to go over there, so you're getting punished.
Exactly.
And not every punishment needs to be OB.
And you won't see that, anymore if the green's actually marked.
Yeah, you're right.
If the green's actually marked.
You're not even on the green, brother. Can't complain. Throw a better shot.
Yeah, you make that putt, though. You got a new stat. How good are you at manufacturing your look and your putt to make more putts?
Let's talk pace of play. Did you have any issues this week? Pace of play.
I did.
Okay, this is something that is obviously a major issue. I'm not going to take too much away from it on this course, though, Yuli, because we had someone shoot 52 over par. We had a couple people shoot 35, 30, 29, 27. We had a lot of people in the field shooting really over par.
First day I played with a guy, a really nice guy named Roger, and he shot 20 over.
Yeah. So this is what I'll say is I never like the excuse of someone saying,
and Roger played faster than a lot of people on tour. I'll tell you that much.
That's the thing is I don't like the excuse of like, well, was the card that you're waiting on every hole, were they just playing bad and you guys are playing good? I'll say this and I'll say this again. If any people on tour are listening to this, if you throw the worst shot off the tee, if you're going to be the first one to have to throw your second shot, you cannot be the last one off the tee. You got to walk. You got to walk. And all these people talking like, here's the thing, guys. I after I think it was round 1 or round 2. I can't remember what round it was. We get through the island hole where spectators are actually there sitting all day watching, which is awesome for us. That's what we want. We want to play in front of spectators. We want to make this product exciting for them to come out and watch us play. If no one's watching us play, we're not playing for anything. We're not making them any money. This is not a job. This is now just a hobby, a fun thing to do. I walked by Yuli, and this guy stopped me. He goes, "Hey, Brodie, I just want to let you know, we waited 30 minutes earlier for the next car to come in." There was a 30-minute gap between someone playing a hole and then the next group coming. And I said, "Oh, like." I turned around. I was like, "Oh, you guys love that, right? Like that was awesome that you guys had nothing to watch for 30 minutes." And they're all like, "Haha, yeah." Like that's a problem, Yuli. That's a huge problem. If I show up and there's no action for 30 minutes, I'm like, this sport's way too slow. This is way bad, man. Every round I waited on every single shot. Every single shot. And
that wasn't my experience. I had one round where I waited for like 2 holes.
We caught up to every group on hole 2.
Yeah, mine was smooth sailing most of the time.
That's good. Yeah. And again, it's a lot of it, Yuli, too, has to do with the fact of like, if you just don't get behind the wrong people.
Yeah,
right.
That's 100% it. There's certain people who just take a unbelievable time.
Yeah.
I always say, take your time, don't take my time. They were taking my time.
Yeah. And everyone, again, people in the chat, Slanging Dish, just add 30-second shot clocks. That's not the problem, Slanging. The problem is not people are getting to their disc and they're taking 30 seconds. The problem is, I've said this from the get-go. There was multiple times, one of the cards I played, I didn't say anything because I probably should have. But I definitely was kind of hinting at like, hey, you're up. There was multiple times where like people that are first on the tee are just taking way too long to even throw their first shot. If I play hole 1 and everyone taps in for birdie and I was the first one to throw on hole 1, I shouldn't be getting to hole 2 and waiting for everyone to get to hole 2 and have okay, what did everyone get? Type it in, put it in. Then I grab my disc and then I should already be on the tee pad ready to go. And it's just, again, I'll keep saying it. Disc golf will not grow if the sport continues to go slower and slower. The product needs to be fast, needs to have action. And live, I think they can sometimes cheat that, Yuli.
And that doesn't mean you can't take time.
No, yes, exactly.
You can take time. There's certain
shots.
More
than 30 seconds multiple times.
Yeah, there's certain shots that take a little time. When it gets windy and you need to figure out what the gusts are doing when you're putting from 30 foot, take a little time. That's fine. No. Do it. But it's the in-between stuff, the walking and the this and the chatting and oh, wow, look at this.
No one will ever tell me that I took more than 30 seconds for a shot, even though I have multiple times. No one will ever say anything because I get to my disc faster than anyone else. Like I'm moving to where I'm at my disc, and sometimes like there's still 20 seconds behind me before they even will get up to me. So
you've played with me. I don't take a lot of time, but I do take a little bit of time on the putting green.
Yes.
I take 25, 30 seconds every time I putt, but it's okay.
How do you feel about them making you keep track of score? To me, that just so that's another thing, Marcos. Another thing that would speed up pace of play drastically is if you literally just kept your score and one other person's score. If I just kept me and Yuli's score and that was it, I never have to be like, wait, what did you get on this hole again? What'd you get? Trying to keep track of your score and 3 other people's score on some of these holes is like nearly impossible. But keeping track of me and Yuli's score wouldn't be very hard at all. Right. So that's what needs to happen. You got to get it to where we're each keeping track of our score and one other person's score, and then vice versa in the entire group. All All right, let's jump to now the saxophone guy on hole 1. What was that, Yuli? It scared you guys on coverage. Melton didn't know what to do. By the way, good job. You guys both did great. You and Melton in the booth
awesome.
for Jomez. I think it was a saxophone. I don't know. Again, I'm on the course. I'm waiting on some of these holes for like 5 minutes, 4 minutes to throw. So like I'm on Twitter just because there's like literally nothing else. What am I going to do for 4 minutes, like 12, 15 times throughout my round? And someone tweeted me being like, "Hey, Brodie, any thoughts on the saxophone guy on hole 1?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, immediately send me a clip. So is this a Jedi situation? Is this something that me and you are we're just kind of off base? Like this is cool, and we just don't understand that it's cool.
Listen, it's that guy was getting after it with the saxophone.
He was good.
Nice job. Unless it is in the DNA of the tournament. Like if we're playing the British Open and somebody comes out with a couple bagpipes or whatever they use.
Love that.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Or if we're at the Music City Open, maybe.
Yes, but I've never seen a saxophone at the OTB Open. And if that's the way it's going to be forever, then that's okay. But
what is the thought process
I don't know
behind
what
that?
It was probably some
I know a guy that plays a saxophone and he's down to play.
It's probably honestly a local guy who loves the tournament, loves the club, and people know that he's like nasty with the saxophone. He's like, "Hey man, I'll come do it on hole 1," and then they're all buds and they're like, "Yeah, dude, get after it." Probably all in good fun.
Okay, well, I think some people will roast us for not liking the saxophone, but hey, there's a lot of people out there.
I like the saxophone.
You did not like the saxophone.
I like his play. I didn't like it much for the
You didn't
tournament.
like the timing.
Yeah, the timing of it.
I had multiple.
Now, before they're all going and there's people waiting and this guy's just getting after it, you know what I mean, for the crowd, and then they call the names and then there's no more saxophone. Right? There's no more saxophone at that time.
He also wasn't playing the same song. It was like a little different tune each person.
I think it was like almost like he was roasting him.
I don't know. I had multiple people though tweet me saying, my wife or my girlfriend or my friend just walked in while I'm watching coverage and was like, "What the heck is that?" And again, guys, here's the thing. We aren't wearing shoulder pads and a helmet and slamming into people. We aren't dunking a basketball. We aren't skating on ice and punching people in the face. We're throwing a frisbee into a basket. We need all the help we can get. This isn't helping us.
Yeah, some people are saying it is. Some people say that the Jedi was helping because it got more publicity and you need all the eyes in the world on it. That's the conclusion that some people are having.
All that didn't get outside of like, but that didn't. See, I agree. Like all press is good press. If something happened and like all of a sudden like everyone's talking about disc golf and now people are like, "What the heck? I don't even know what disc golf is." I think that's good. No, like it wasn't getting like massive attention. It was more just like random people.
But they're saying it could get massive attention. Like, what if it went viral? This guy, like somebody aces it and then the guy goes berserk and it's on the 4th of, or what? May the 4th be with you.
That's what
they were giving hypotheticals.
I am a all press is good press type of guy for sure. I get it. I understand it.
We're giving them good press right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll. There's just been so many other sports where I'm sure there's people in that sport being like, "Gosh, I wish people took me seriously. Gosh, I wish people thought this was actually legit." And
I mean, live players have the concert going on while they're playing.
Yeah, it's a joke. They did. Did you see everyone making fun of them when they had the that dance mob come out on the first tee and All these people dancing before it's a complete joke. People make a mockery of it. No one, Live isn't taking off. The only reason Live's still around is a ton of money is being pumped in it. I'm just saying I've been in the shoes of where I've looked at another sport and I was like, that's a joke. Those guys are that's not even a real sport. And I'm sure there's people in that sport being like, I wish people took us seriously. Why don't they take us seriously? And I want to be like, that, whatever that is, stop doing that. And I don't know, maybe I'm alone in that thought with disc golf, but that's my take on it. Yeah, PGA players getting arrested on the course, bunch of lowlifes, exactly. JMZ with the $5 says, Yules, you're the man. Keep grinding for us old heads. Brodes, love what you're doing for the sport. Keep spitting facts. Hey, thank you, JMZ. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Also, update. Big shout out to the PDGA. We're in May, and we have a cut line. We have the cash line. It took them until May. We have a cash line, Yuli.
I love that.
On PDGA Live.
Great feature.
Now, if it took them months to figure out how to put a cash line on PDGA Live, how many more months do we have to wait for favoriting players? What are we thinking? Double that?
Next year.
Next year, okay. A full year. All right. You guys will be able to favorite players again next OTB Open. Oh, well, Champions Cup. All right. This might be the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I want to preface this real quick.
Okay. Craziest thing ever.
I want to preface this real quick. The divers at OTB are some of the best that we see in disc golf. Now, this is a disc golf thing, and I actually like this about disc golf, right? Because you play golf, you hit your ball in the water, deuces, that ball's gone. You're never seeing it again. Disc golf, so many times you're like, I need to get that disc back. I need to get that disc back. And these guys are on it. I don't think I've ever lost a disc at OTB. It always gets found. There was one year, I think it was 2 years ago, Yuli, I threw the same disc every practice round in the water, and it got back to me every time.
I got my favorite disc back from OTB this year that I lost last year.
I'm telling you, these guys are incredible.
It was completely different. Super flat nuke now with crusties on it, and I was happy to get it back, but I think that one's going in Brad's bag.
People hate when I bring this up. I just want to note, Yuli is crystal clear for me on this program, but he's blurry as heck in the actual output.
Really?
I don't understand it.
Whoa. That's not true.
You're blurry.
That's not true. Yuli's clear. You're both clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why am I seeing all three of you are blurry? And well, all three of you. That's me in there too.
All right. Everyone's saying he's clear. Am I clear? Am I sharp?
Yeah.
I'm blurry as heck.
Yeah, no, you're good.
All right. I'm good. All right. We're moving forward. All right. So shout out to the divers. They're absolutely amazing. But here we go. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Go ahead and play the video, Silas.
Hit this guy. Oh, that's what we're hearing apparently. Let's take a look from our flight factory. Oh my. Wait, what, bro?
I don't.
Have you seen this, Yuli?
No, I can't see it. It's blurry.
That was cool.
Don't tell that to Silas. Okay, we are on hole 7 here, the par 3.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to hole 7 people too, though. They were getting a little rowdy. I like it. Trying to get a little environment going over there. We're on hole 7. The divers are actually in the water here, Yuli.
Yeah.
One of the divers is in front of the sawgrass, and for those that don't know, like, the OB line is pushed up pretty far past that sawgrass. Like it's a good maybe 15 to 20 feet off that sawgrass water line.
Yep.
Diver's about 10 to 15 feet in front of the sawgrass. Madison Walker throws her shot, turns it over. Clearly going in the water, has no chance of going in bounds. No chance. Diver jumps out of the water, knocks it down so they're easily able to grab it and give it back to Madison Walker out of the air. Okay. So, like, first off, just a weird thing, like seeing a merman jump out and like swat the disc. Now, in the moment, I think Madison actually was I heard someone say that she might even yelled to like, "Hey, get that," or something like that. And we've heard Paige Pierce do this to Terry Miller. We've heard this before, where it's like, "Hey, get that disc for me." And she was actually very pleased. Zach Melton caught up with her and said, "I talked to Madison about it. It was shanked towards the water, bad shot, no chance of it landing in bounds. Apparently, everyone flipped out on the diver for trying to catch it. She hates he's catching flack for it. Literally said it was a terrible shot." I think Madison was actually kind of happy. Madison was kind of happy that she got her disc back, right? Yeah. But here's the thing, Yuli. There is a rule in the rule book, courtesy of our friends over at PDGA. And this was something that me and Aaron and Ezra did like a deep dive one night a couple weeks ago.
Interference.
Because we were talking about, can you, like, if I had my disc and I just chucked it at your bag, can I stroke you? And being like, your bag was in my way, right? And we learned that actually is not how that rule works, but we kept deep diving. And Aaron found this rule. And it goes like this, guys. A thrown disc whose course was intentionally altered by someone other than the thrower is given a position at the point of contact, as agreed on by the group. The thrower may choose to play it from that resulting lie, or they can abandon the throw without penalty, and in which case the original throw is not counted in the player's score. So, what Madison Walker could have done,
just rethrown.
She could have said, "Hey, that guy intentionally altered my disc. I'm going to abandon that throw, and I'm going to rethrow with no penalty." And that would have been that honestly, that's what she should have done. That's a crazy rule, Yuli.
I know.
How much? I mean, Hunter was saying, like, when I told him this, he's like, "Oh wait, so like at New London, I can, if one of your shots are going out OB, I can just sprint after it and swat it, and then you get just."
I did that once at that little, what is it, hole 6? Yeah, 7. Hole 8.
What course are we talking about?
Hole 8 at Fountain.
Okay.
The little peninsula.
Yeah.
I threw one. Guy ran over, smacked it down. I told my group, "Hey, I can play that shot," and they all called me a cheater.
Oh, because you can play it where it was hit.
He smacked it down right by the bucket, safe. And I'm like, "That's my lie." And they're like, "It was going 100 feet out of bounds." And I'm like, "I know, but I can play it there." I ended up not, and I took my meter in, and I'm like, "You guys don't know the rules. Like, that's legitimately my lie." And then afterwards, I forgot, I won't name drop who it was, but they were like, they made like a thread about it, that Paul's a big cheater and all this stuff. And then my buddy posted the rules on it or whatever. And one of the guys messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I had no idea that was an actual rule. It's still bull crap."
It's a terrible rule.
It totally is bull crap.
It's a terrible rule.
It's a rule. Like, he hit my disc out of the sky, bro. What do you want from me?
Oh man, I thought that was pretty fascinating. That is actually one of the rules in the PDGA. Does it surprise me at all that that's a rule that the PDGA somehow came up with? No, not at all. Is that a rule that the Disc Golf Pro Tour should have? Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, but what happens when a guy runs out, hits your disc out of bounds, just smacks it out of bounds on purpose, like a rage monster, like a Happy Gilmore situation?
See, and that
TD's discretion.
Case, yeah, I was gonna say, in that case, I think it needs, like the Madison Walker case, like, absolutely not. You don't get a
case,
rethrow.
Absolutely not.
Your case, absolutely not. Someone throws a roller and someone runs out and kicks it, then yeah, that needs to be rethrown for sure.
Even if it was going way out of bounds? No.
I mean, like, what would the NFL do if someone ran onto the field during a play and tackled a player? They would probably replay
I would go to jail.
I know, but they probably don't have like a rule that's like specific. They might actually do, but it's probably like, it's probably the play doesn't count, replay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how I think I would do it. And also, yeah, I mean, obviously you like send these people to jail or not. Drew Gibson. showed up late. Surprisingly enough, showed up late to his tee time on the card with me. So I got to see my very first interaction between the two. It was an interesting one because I thought, I'll say this, I think after it settled in, Drew just like took it. He ended up actually cashing like a 50-footer on hole 1 for bogey, which was weird that he only threw 2 shots and we had to put a bogey down because I guess that's how you do the strokes there. It's like, hey, just add 2 strokes to his first hole. So I think I don't think he let it kind of get to him too much, but I was a little surprised. I'll say this. I was a little surprised that he did fight back a little bit with the person assessing the penalty, being like, I'm 7 seconds late. I don't know what we have to do here, Yuli. It's 5 minutes, guys. If it's 5:01, you're late. I mean, and the guy, I feel bad for the guy because he was like, he knew he was like, oh my gosh, Drew's not here. I'm gonna say I don't want to do, like, no one wants to do this.
No.
So players, if you're late,
I don't know about that though. I think there was a certain situation this year where
there might be a TD that gets
was excited about it. Yes, I swear he was like, I won't say who he was, but he was like,
he's
saying
like rubbing
it like,
his hands, like, oh please,
like where is this guy at? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he's about to be late, and I'm like, oh, dude.
And they had like an intercom system, Yuli. I don't know if you heard it, where they're like calling players. I hate that. Like, that should not don't do that. We're not middle schoolers. We don't need to be like, Yuli, is Yuli on the court? Has anyone seen Yuli? Yuli's tee time. Like, no, stop doing that immediately. But yeah, he showed up late, so he tweeted out saying, fell victim to the 5-minute pre-tee time rule today by 7 seconds. Again, this is where I have a problem, Yuli. People do this. They're counting out like how many seconds they're. It doesn't matter if you're late by 30 seconds or late by 2 seconds. You were late. And that's where I know certain people don't understand this rule or don't respect this rule or whatever, because you would not, if you were late, you would just say like, bonehead decision, I was late. So he said by 7 seconds, rules are rules. See, that's where it doesn't make sense. Rules are rules. You wouldn't, if rules are rules, you wouldn't say 7 seconds. My game feels good, and my arm is also feeling great this week. Better scores to come. He actually did play really well.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. Like,
freaking Nat in here.
There's a difference. Rules are rules, but there is a difference. Being 7 minutes late is different than being 7 seconds late, Brodie. There is a difference.
But no one's showing up 7 minutes late, Yuli.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's a big difference.
People are showing up a minute to 2 minutes late. Somewhere in that window, that's when people are showing up late.
Yes, well, 2 minutes late is way different than 7 seconds. Like he was almost there.
Sure. But I'm saying there's no reason.
He was almost there.
There's no reason to say that the time. Ricky responded saying, sorry, bud, such a dumb rule. I think we should just keep it like it used to be. You either show up for your allotted tee time or you don't. And that seems very simple and easy to enforce. I couldn't disagree more with Ricky here. No, he wants to go. He wants us to go back to where, like, help me out here. What is Ricky trying to say here?
He's saying that you get 30 seconds before your throw. You should be there in time for your 30 seconds. So if you're
the fourth person on the card, you get more time than the first person.
No, you get the same amount of time.
Is it 30 seconds before the first person throws?
Yeah.
For the card.
Well, if it's your tee time and you're the first on the tee time, then you have 30 seconds to go.
But you don't know what tee order it is either. They never know, and it sometimes mixes up. My tee order was messed up one time, so that's what I'm saying.
That doesn't matter. It's still 30 seconds.
But is it 30 seconds? If our tee time's at 11 o'clock, Yuli, do I need to be there at 10:59 and 30 seconds? Or if I'm the fourth one to tee off, can I get there at 11 with 30 seconds?
Well, it depends on how fast those guys go. As soon as a person
and that's
throws.
the problem. That's the problem, because if your homeboys are on the card, your homeboys are all going to take their time. That's why this rule sucks. 5 minutes.
It's not your homeboys. If this happened in any other sport, people would still take their time. Nobody wants to see somebody get stroked over being 2 seconds late, Brodie.
Some people, I think, don't care.
Yeah, some people.
There's some
for
people
the
that
most
don't
part,
care.
like.
Yeah. We can all agree 5 minutes is far too long, Yuli. We were up there on that stage. I was looking around.
It's actually 10 minutes.
It really is, because I get there way earlier because I don't want to be
I put
late.
my alarm for 10 minutes before my tea time in the morning when I wake up.
That's why, to me, like, I think all these players would stop complaining if they literally just do like 2 minutes.
I don't understand. It makes it easy for the PDGA to enforce the first ever rule that they're going to ever enforce.
They do a great job enforcing this rule.
So
they
it's
do
because
a great job.
somebody's doing it for them. It's the announcer. It's not the PDGA who's even enforcing it. Like, it's the only person who can see one rule out of the whole entire tournament that's being broken.
They definitely don't do pace of play, because there's multiple times where it's like, hey, there's no one on these 3 holes. There's a 3-hole gap. Maybe you guys should do your job and go out there and tell people to speed up.
I saw somebody tweet like, hey,
but they'll stroke you if you're 7 seconds late.
They'll stroke you if you're 7 seconds late, but they'll let everybody spend 2 hours putting. Silly to me, man. It is a silly rule. Do I think that it should be like Ricky says in like the olden times? No. Do I think it should be 5 minutes? No. Do I think we need here's another thing. Do I think we need 5 minutes for the person to tell me, like I said, that there's a swap meet at the end of the round?
I hate that. Hey, guys, we're doing axe throwing tonight. Come on by for axe throwing. Bobby Shiz sums it up perfectly. You keep talking about professionalism. Be on time. Yes, sir, Bobby. Yes, sir.
But there is a difference between being 7 seconds late and 2 minutes late.
Trevor was trying to tell me that if you have a meeting at 11 and you show up at 11 o'clock and 59 seconds, you're not late. You're 59 seconds late.
You're late.
He was saying that you're not late. As long as you show up between 11 and 11:01. I hear what he's saying,
because some clocks don't say, like, they don't count the seconds.
He considers you not late if you're somewhere in that. Like, he gives almost like a 1 minute grace period. And I'm like, no, 11 o'clock is when the meeting starts. Like, if the meeting starts at 11, I'm already being like, all right, guys, this is what we're talking about. So if you show up at 11:59, you've missed 59 seconds of the meeting.
Are you an on-time guy or a late guy?
Depends on what it is.
Okay.
100% depends on what it is. 100%. Disc Golf Pro Tour changes. Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship format. Yet again, Yuli. They said, hey, we threw this out at the wall. You guys didn't like it. We threw this out at the wall. You guys didn't like it. What about this? So let's look at this format now. 2024 tournament format. Top 32 MPO. Top 20 FPO. And the Disc Golf World standings qualify, which is different. Because I think is the Disc Golf Pro Tour World Standings points based, or is that different? Because normally
they
it's
must
points.
Have put it on there wrong. It's points.
Oh, you think this graphic's wrong?
Yeah, it's points.
That's what I thought too.
It is.
Okay. So now we're having the first place starts at 10 under, second at 9, third at 8, fourth at 7, 5th through 8th at 6, 9 through 12 at 5 under, 13 through 16 at 4, 17 through 20 at 3, 21 through 24 at 2, 25 through 28 at 1 under, 29 and 32 at none. So you start at even. Some notable changes. We are doing stroke play, 4 rounds, no cut. Scores do not reset. I think this is a better format.
100%.
They also threw in a Parker Welk clause, which is basically saying if you win a tournament, you get to go to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship no matter what, but you don't kick out someone else's spot. So you're just an additional person. So
yeah, because that almost happened to me last year. I was in 32nd, but I almost got booted because Parker won.
Exactly.
But then Macbeth dropped, so I got in there.
So they're just adding to that now. Size.
Okay, but
go for it.
I do have one problem with it.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Like 10 under, second place is 9 under, 20th is even.
Yeah.
Like, how are they calculating how much a point is worth? Like, why wouldn't you be able to gain strokes with the way that they're putting the format? Like, why not? If you dominate everybody, you should be able to, by the way they're doing it with these random things, it should just be a stroke is worth this many points and you can gain a big lead. Like, they're just setting it. They're just setting it like, okay, here it is. But that doesn't make any sense, because if you're 32nd and you make it into the Pro Tour Championships and you're 10 strokes behind, but this guy beat you by 500 points, and then you get what I'm saying, and then the next guy is like however many points ahead of you and you're tied with that guy. Like, what if you're in 32nd and then 31st beat you by 300 points? How do you have the same score as that guy?
But you have the same score? Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't really think about it that way.
You think
it should be a scale?
I think there should be a scale for the points. This many points is worth this much. If you get into the Pro Tour Championships, you might be 10 under par or 10 over par. That's fine, because you're earning your strokes for the end. You know, like, your points are currencies. That's what they're trying to tell us.
I like it. I like where you're headed there.
But like, second place is going to be like, could be 200 points behind first place and 1 stroke back. You get what I mean?
No, I feel you.
Anyways,
I feel you. No, I think that would be interesting, because then you could have some years where, like, the top guys are all really close together going into it, and then you have other years
they've earned it.
Yeah, you have other years where one guy's way ahead and everyone has to try to chase him down. Yeah, I like it.
And he earned to be 10 shots ahead. He dominated everybody. Therefore, he gets a 12-stroke lead going in the Pro Tour Championship. That's fine. It'd be weird, but he earned it. You know what I mean?
I like that idea, Yuli. I like that idea. All right, Manufacturers Cup after OTB Open. Calvin leads Innova to their largest weekly point total all season. Innova leads the cup points for the second consecutive week and had 4 players in the top 10. Open bag player Gavin Rathbun finished second and currently world ranked as the fifth. Wait, what? Hold on. Is it? Okay, here we go. Open bag player Gavin Rathbun finished second and currently would rank as the 5th manufacturer on his own with 47 points on the season, ahead of Prodigy, MVP, and DGA. Wow. Sullivan Tipton's tied for 4th finish, propelled DGA up from 10th to 7th, passing Westside, Mint, and Castaplas. You've got Discmania and 2, Innova. Discraft still in a commanding lead, by the way, with 264 points. So Discraft still killing everyone in the Manufacturers Cup. All right, some EDWIN stats for you. The purse went up 5% this year to $105,000. EDWIN, I don't know if EDWIN took into account the field here, but this course played as the 5th hardest event since 2023. That is simply 100% because of the field. If we had a full field, this would be one of the easier courses, I think, on tour. And you can look at that just by the scores at the top. These guys are birding 10, 11 holes and maybe 1 bogey, right? What was
the final score? I forgot.
28. He laid up a putt to win 28 under. Is that right, guys?
Okay.
I think
it's 27.
27. Yeah, Calvin laid up the putt on hole 18 to shoot 27. Yeah.
3 9s wins.
Edwin says maybe I should base that stat on just the top 50. Yes, I agree, Edwin. I think that would be a better stat, because we got guys shooting 50 over par out here that are making the course seem like it's the hardest course alive. Let's see here. Calvin led tournament birdie rate 57%. greens in regulation, 59%. Calvin had the lowest C1X putting, 79%, and strokes gained putting, 1.9 of an elite winner. Oh, wow. So that tells me that he was just throwing the disc so well that his putting didn't matter.
Parking 25% of the hole.
Yeah. Calvin becomes the second player this year to win consecutive elite events behind AB after no one going back-to-back since 2022. Simon Lizotte did it. Calvin's strokes gained tee to green, 19.3. And again, this is inflated because I'm guessing he's doing strokes gained on the field. And again, our field here, we had a bunch of guys that were kind of inflating these numbers. Calvin was the only player. Here you go, Yuli. Calvin was the only player to have all 3 rounds 8 under or better. So just played super consistent out there. Gavin led the tournament with 80% scramble rate. This is his second consecutive podium finish of 2024. Gannon Burr falls out of the top 10 for the first time in 2024. He bogeys hole 18 in the final round to drop out. Wow, I didn't know that. And Gavin Babcock, first ever back-to-back top 10 finishes at elite major events, has 3 top 10 finishes in 2024, raking him tied for 10th on the season. So Gavin's having a great little season himself.
Yeah, he's getting it done.
Yeah, very nice. All right, sweet.
You know what I was thinking? I think we're missing the best player in the world.
Don't say the guy from Japan.
No, I think we are. I think we're all up on AB and Gannon and.
Hey, who the heck are you talking about here?
Simon.
Eagle?
Simon's won more than anybody in the last couple of seasons, and he hasn't been
Simon
playing.
Action?
He hasn't been playing at all. I don't know. Just a quick little shout out to my boy Simon, who wasn't able to go out there.
I don't know if I'd put him at the best in the world right now, but
how many times has he won in the last?
Top five.
No, how many times has he won in the last however many years?
Well, this is different though. You're going off of just like his ceiling. I agree. When he's playing at his peak.
I'm saying wins is everything. How many times has he won? I think he's won more than anybody.
5.
6.
In the last 2 seasons? He won 4, won 4, and then he's won 1 this year. Did he win more than 4?
I thought he won.
I thought he won 4 last year, or was it 2 years ago that he won 4?
I don't know. I think he won 4, then 1, then 1.
Yeah, he had 4 in 1 year. What year was that? Was that 2 years ago or 1 year ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Did he not win last year? You better hope he won last year.
He did win last year.
Well, he won Music City because he went back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Was that his only win last year? And his only win this year? So you could be right. 6 in the last 3 seasons.
That's got to be the most, right? Yeah. Yes. Maybe Calvin just caught him up.
Maybe Calvin just caught him. Maybe. That's the only person that I would say. Maybe. I don't know. Edwin's on it for sure though.
Just throwing a little curveball at you real quick.
Yeah, you gave last 3 years. I believe he has 7. Says Barry. Barry's trying to get ahead of it before Edwin. All right.
7.
That's what Barry says.
Past it.
We
talk about Calvin.
This isn't Barry stats. Yuli, this isn't Barry stats. All right. This is Edwin's stats. So anyone that throws out numbers that's not Edwin, I can't take him at face value.
I'm a skeptic.
You're gonna all of a sudden start making Barry stats merch. All right. This wild story of the week. I guess buckle up here, boys. I don't know where this is gonna go. Here we go. It started out as a typical Saturday afternoon at a C-tier disc golf tournament. I was playing in the MPO division and found myself on a card with a few guys who had met before but didn't know super well. Though the first few holes, the vibes were decent, even though I, along with 2 of the guys, were still a little disappointed with our round 1 performances. Among us was a guy who was probably the worst player in MPO, but had somehow managed to shoot a stellar round 1 and was performing above his usual skill level so far in round 2. We were about 5 holes in when we reached the tee of a soft par 3. We all teed off, and just as we were walking away from the tee, the overachieving cardmate stopped suddenly in his tracks as his face paled like he had just saw a ghost. He whispered something to one of our cardmates and then bolted off. Startled, I turned to the guy he whispered to and asked, "What was that about?" He had Taco Bell for lunch. was the solemn reply. That explained everything, as we all knew the only restroom at the park was over half a mile away. We watched in both amazement and pity as the poor guy sprinted towards a small patch of woods in the middle of the public park we were playing at, presumably to take care of urgent business. We took our time walking down the fairway, putting out and moving leisurely towards the next tee. All the while, me and the guy who first heard the news were joking about the situation and talking about when and if our buddy would show up again. Meanwhile, the other car mate still with us began to grumble. He's got 5 minutes before we give him a stroke, he declared. Then upped the ante. Maybe we need to give him a par +4 on this hole. And then after missing his short birdie putt, he muttered, he might have to DNF if he doesn't get back soon. Myself and the other car mates, seeing that this was getting out of hand, disagreed. Show us the rules for that, we challenged. Obviously, he couldn't find such a rule, so after a couple minutes, he just angrily said that this was going to affect his play and stopped talking. Fast forward a few minutes, and by this time, there was a group backed up on the tee waiting for us. I jogged back up to the tee and noticed they were somewhat annoyed, explained to them what was happening in the woods just behind them. Luckily, they all took it well and said the guy in the woods had it worse than they did, and waiting a few minutes wasn't a big deal. Finally, we saw our relieved car mate emerging from the woods. He did a full sprint from the woods a few hundred feet away, hurried up to his shot, putt that had been waiting for him for over 10 minutes, clanked it off the band, tapped in, and scurried over to us at the next tee. As the group behind us started teeing off, we noticed something peculiar. Our now relieved buddy was missing his sweatshirt, oh my gosh, and his microfiber towel, oh my gosh. He casually mentioned that he also had to use a brand new flight towel and socks to clean up, and even used the driver to dig a hole in true Boy Scout fashion, if you catch my drift. We couldn't help but chuckle, all except the guy who had been keen on penalizing him and who continually muttered throughout the round that he wasn't playing well due to the pace of play. We finished the rest of the round without any further excitement, though there was a silent agreement that handshakes should be off the table before teeing off on 18. Hey, these are my type of guys. The side note, pre-18 handshakes are the dumbest thing in disc golf other than telling people nice bid when they miss a putt from short circle 2. Yeah, it is dumb to say good playing with you before the tournament's over. In the end, our Taco Bell survivor may not have won the tournament, but he certainly won some serious respect from me. I'm recommending this guy to head a DGPT committee that cracks down on pros DNFing for no reason. Oh, great. Great finish to that story, too.
That's good stuff.
Bobby says never touch a random towel on the course.
Never.
Okay, Edwin stats. Since the beginning of 2022, the top win count is Simon, 7. Calvin, 7. Ricky, 6. Gannon, 5. There you have it.
I just don't think we talk about.
No one talks about him enough. Yeah, I agree.
We don't talk about him as the best player in the world.
I think it's because he just comes and goes. We don't see him week to week. I think that's got to be the reason. That's got to be the reason. We kind of forget about him.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just saying, I think he might be the best player in the world.
You might be right. He's won 7 times. That was one more than well, that's a little bit more than I thought he won. So
that's 2 more than you thought.
I know. All right. If you guys have a wild story that you want us to read here on Tour Life, send it in to us, to our intern, David, who goes through all the stories. Send it into the email, WildStoryTour@gmail.com. That's WildStoryTour@gmail.com. And we might read it right here live. Quick shout out, Yuli. Quick shout out to my boys, Tarmu Thompson and Kaspar Nitro Aravi. They played a full marathon on disc golf. And at first you might think like, oh, that's kind of cool. No, Yuli. They didn't start their watch and walk and played 26.2 miles of disc golf. They played 26.2 miles of disc golf holes. So they only counted the hole length as the length. So they played a full marathon of disc golf. Absolutely insane. Shout out to these guys. That's crazy. What's the time?
Awesome.
What's the time on that? 33 hours and 39 minutes?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey man, hats off to that right there.
That is impressive stuff. I think that's some sort of world record or something they went for. So congrats to those guys. I believe Estonians too. Very cool. So, hey, the mark is set. Who can play a marathon of disc golf faster than 33 hours, 39 minutes, and 38 seconds?
That's like, I don't know, like what, 3 rounds on the Pro Tour?
Just stop it. I barely get my steps in on these Pro Tour courses. Freaking shrimp courses. All right, let's open it up here to the people. Tour Life crew, we love you guys. We thank you guys so much for supporting us. We're going to open up the floor to you guys. So any questions for me, Yuli, Silas, anyone, drop it in the chat right now. Or any kind of discussions that you want to bring up. It might not be a question, it might be a discussion. We have our first one here from David Craig. Should big manufacturers consider hiring full-time caddies, tour managers to travel with their younger stars? DDO Cole Redolin situation might be prevented with a mentor/older advisor. I have an easy answer for this, but Yuli, go ahead.
No.
Absolutely not. That's a waste of money. If you're on the Pro Tour, figure your crap out. The Aquarian TV says any course that has low head drives, Calvin should win. Agree or disagree with the Aquarian TV?
Yeah, if it's a low ceiling shot on the Pro Tour, Calvin's probably going to win. Unless Simon's in the field. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No,
Simon's got those nasty rollers.
No. Calvin's going to win.
Jeremy Levitt says cicada or passion?
Don't throw either of them.
I'll answer then. Passion. It's always a passion. Did you see that nasty passion shot that Ezra had on that hole?
Yeah.
Nasty. He threw that in practice round. And I was like, what the heck are you doing, dude? He's like, dude,
psycho.
He's like, this shot just shapes perfectly for me. I was like, all right, whatever, weirdo. Go ahead and get third place.
Yeah, go ahead and get a rethrow when the spotter knocks it out of the sky.
Maybe he did have like some sort of agreement where it's like, hey, if I turn this passion over too much, it's heading towards the water, just swat it. Levi Smith says, Brodie, what's your favorite course in DFW? Town Lake's a good one, Levi. Town Lake's a good one. I like Woods at Trinity is really good. I love McCord when it doesn't rain. Trying to think. Greenbelt's a really fun one as well. There's a lot of really good, fun little courses. Ooh, Gary Down says he's looking forward to seeing Nate Doss play. 100% agree. 100% agree. Gonna be dope. Cuckoo Kachu just joined. Welcome. Any other questions for us, guys? Rise Lopez just joined. Welcome. Favorite tour stop, combination of course and city. Ooh, I got a good one.
My favorite is Vermont. Fox Run, Brewster Ridge.
Didn't really think about that one.
Atmosphere out there is electric, beautiful place. Scenery is amazing, chill spot. Seems like you go up there to relax, which is a rarity. It's the closest thing we have in the States to European golf.
Yeah, it's a vibe for sure up there. Now here I'll say this. Might not be the sexiest pick. Des Moines. Love the crowd out there, the people. And they've got the nastiest Mexican restaurant right by the course. That's absolutely fire. It's crap. What's the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. But we eat there probably 4 or 5 times. Absolutely love it. Ronnie says he resent his wild story. Just FYI. All right, Ronnie. David will take a look at it. Oh, here we go. Cuckoo Kachu. Excited to see you guys at Portland Open /BSF. I actually won't be there, Cuckoo Kachu, but Yuli will be out there. How do you guys feel about Milo as a course? Good question.
Most overrated course in the world.
There you go. I do not think he's going to take that one happily.
I love it, but I always said I think it's the new layout is way better, amazing. But the old layout, Milo West, Milo East, I always thought it was the most overrated course in the world, and I'll tell you why. Because there was 4 holes that you had to birdie, which were the flukiest 4 holes of all time. You go into those little woodsy things and you were throwing sidearm rollers. Whoever got those holes won the tournament. If you didn't, you had to go play the real course, and it was tough.
I remember doing my first round out there, I think was a doubles round with Nate Sexton and Thomas Gilbert, who are both like have played that course multiple times. Obviously, Nate Sexton kind of being in the area.
Yeah.
And when we got to that hole, the roller hole, where I was like, all right, yeah. So like, what's the play here, guys? He's like, oh, forehand roller. I was like, okay, like, but like, what's the other shot? No, it's a forehand roller hole. I was like, what? And it's just, you chuck it at the ground. You hope it doesn't hit a root, and you play the hole.
Yes, sir. Or
yeah,
the big crash shot, like throw it as high as you can, Annie, into the woods.
Yeah. Just
like, this is the best.
This
is the best one in the world. This is what we're saying.
All right, let me get this guy's name right so I don't mess up.
But it is beautiful out there, and I love it. Yep.
Reyes, do you think the Disc Golf Pro Tour holds back on publicizing disc golf? That's an interesting question. What do you mean? Like, is he saying like doesn't post enough on Instagram and Twitter? Is that?
I think that's true.
You think they could be doing more? Okay. I think they do a pretty good job during the tournament. They've been clipping stuff out, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, you need to clip. What you need to do is you need to clip things out, and then you need to collab with certain people, and it'd grow faster.
They also don't do really any stories, though. That's the one thing that they're kind of missing is like you got to make people want to tune in and watch. Like, what's the reason? Why do I want to watch the Portland Open coming up? I got to get stories. I got to have storylines here. And yeah, there's a lot of boring people. Sure. Find the interesting people, talk to them, get the stories. What event do each of you believe have the best chance to win on tour? Oh, what event do each of you believe you have the best chance to win on tour? I think I'm going to say Portland Open because I've gotten top 10 there twice. But I'm not playing there this year, so.
Probably Vermont. I mean, a place where I'm comfortable.
I like that for you.
I play well there. I'm comfortable, like I said. And then I think at this stage in my career, I think probably I probably have and this is going to be wild to some people, but I think I probably have the best chance to win a major, afar from all the other ones. Ooh. The reason I say that is it's the one I haven't done. So I feel like if I get into a situation where I come out hot or something, and they're the hardest courses that we play. And I think I have a better chance because there's a lot of, it's not just like throw far. Like there's a lot of punishment. There's a lot of punishment for there's extra pressure. There's more, putting is more valuable at majors. Not saying that it's a great chance, but I feel like it would be a better chance for myself.
This is a great question because I actually don't know anything about this. What kind of disc is best for rollers? Something with a thick rim?
Depends on what kind of roller you want to throw. Like a sidearm roller, you don't want like a flippy disc. You want a thick rim, like maybe a cap wrap or stable fairway, like a Firebird or something. And then for like long bomber shots, you're going to want something that is fast. So whatever your fastest disc is, throw it against the wall for 2 days, use that one, and then right out of the box, Heat, really great roller. SS Avenger, really great roller.
Don't sleep on the Janice Thrasher.
Don't sleep on the Janice Thrasher.
Really David Craig actually says they need to let you screen record. So I think that's what he was saying. You can't screen record right now and post out clips yourself, which I think is probably bad. I think you probably should let people do that.
They need to be able to let you look at other things when you're watching the coverage too.
That also kills me. Yeah, some people say it works for them. It's never worked for me. It closes me out of the app every time.
Me too.
Was hoping this could be a topic for discussion. How could Ella have won overall, but Holland placed first in WGE overall by 0.1? This seems so bizarre.
What's WGE?
I don't even know what that is. Yeah. What's 0.1? There, WGE, Women's World. I have no idea what WGE is. I just tried to figure it out. Couldn't figure it out.
Next question.
Yuli, if you didn't play disc golf for your career, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's a good question. I've thought about this I was one of those kids who knew I was going to be in professional sports super young. And when I say that, like, I don't know, I just knew it. I think I'd be playing golf probably. I really loved golf. Maybe a golf coach. Maybe I could have seen myself going into being a teacher of some sort. Maybe my favorite one to contemplate is maybe a lawyer. That would be fun. But I'm not kidding. When I was a little kid, I never thought I would do anything else. I'd be professional at something in sports.
We got an answer. Women's global event. I don't know what that is, so I can't.
Oh, it's ratings based, I think, right?
I've never heard of women's global event. I don't
So
know what
they go and they play like it was a women's global event, which is a series.
OTB Open?
Which is a series. No, it was part of the women's global event. So it could be part of a C tier was doing the same event for that thing.
Okay.
And they're going on all over. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's why, because I'm pretty sure it has something to do with ratings and points all together.
Oh.
What do you think you would have been, Brodie?
I think I would have gone into camp counseling. like own
Forever?
own my own summer camp or something. Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
You can still do that, by the way.
No, I know. And I might. I've always wanted to. I was very close to starting my own ultimate frisbee camp. Very close. I helped build one that was already established, and was very close to just starting my own. I mean, I still might do something like that later. I actually, I'm similar to you. I actually love coaching a lot, as well, and yeah, I love seeing people that are super like, to me, that's what I find the most joy in, is like helping people that are super passionate about something. So if someone's like crazy passionate about getting good at ultimate frisbee, then let's freaking go and let's get after it. So an ultimate frisbee camp, who knows? But I did a lot of camp counseling. I was a YMCA camp counselor for like multiple summers throughout college. I think I started in high school and then did it through college a little bit. And then I did 2 years at probably one of the best camps in the United States, Camp Laurel South, shout out, in Maine. So good times up there. Curious question for Yuli. How many times have you been stung on hole 15 at Sholo Park? A very specific question.
Probably at least once, apparently.
It's a very... Yeah, you might have a stalker on your hands watching you go out there and play that course. All right, folks.
Oh, my mom texted me and said lawyer.
Yeah, that would be your job. That's funny. All right, that was awesome. Thank you guys again. We really appreciate all of our Tour Life crew members. We really do. Thank you guys so much. We've got some new stuff over at Foundation Disc Golf. If you guys want to go check that out. We also have some new stuff on the Discraft team site. I think my Get Freaky jerseys came out. I don't know how many if those are still available. I'm sure they are. Get Freaky jerseys came out, so you guys can check those out. And what do we got over here? Oh, is that the skull?
Dude, look at this.
That design sick. Oh, you can't see it? Now I can see it.
Oh,
can't see it?
This dropped at 7 Eastern today.
That's sick. What is it?
A mantis. I actually threw it this week at the tournament. This is the best mantis I've had in forever. Straight out the box, dead straight, baby little fade. Yeah, they just dropped those, so go check those out. What up?
Heck yeah! Shout out to our winner for early Edwin early trivia. For those that don't know, every show about 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the show starts. So that's 7:50 or so East Coast time, and yes, you can be late to it.
Guess this player, Brodie, and I'll give it away to the chat.
Oh.
Jersey signed
Jersey signed.
MPO.
Current MPO player?
Current.
Gannon Burr.
So close.
Calvin.
Isaac
Robinson. Dang.
I get to keep it.
So shout out to our win. I don't know who won today, but shout out to our winner. If you want to try to win, Edwin is in here before the show every week giving out a Frisbee. So check that out. Aquarian TV said he knew it was Isaac. Tour Life crew, yes, thank you. And Tour Life merch update.
All right. So we are what?
What was our goal last week? What did we say we wanted?
450, I think.
Dude, check this out though. My favorite
fire
shirt.
Guess what? We are at 449. Literally one away from 450.
Someone buy that real quick in the chat. Come on.
Yeah.
Someone go to foundationdisc.com. Look at the shirt that Yuli's wearing. Pick it up. Type in Tour Life. Check out all the sweet merch. We got minis on there. We got Frisbees, discs, hats, shirts, hoodies. Go pick it up. We appreciate all the support. Yuli size, anything else left for the people? I think we hit all the things I wanted to cover.
Nope.
Everything good? All right, sweet. Next week, Portland Open. Is that where you'll be, Yuli?
Yep, next Monday.
Yep, next week is Portland Open and then Beaver State Fling. So a little back-to-back West Coast
Elite
action.
Series Plus.
Yeah, big boy. And then we'll be in Preserve. We'll be in Preserve.
Going to Turku.
Oh, you're going to Turku. I'm going to Preserve. So,
yep, I'm doing the same thing like I did.
So I won't see you for like a month.
Yeah, I'm going. Well, no, I'm coming back to Preserve.
Wait.
It goes.
Oh, there's a week. Yeah, so it is gonna be a month.
Yep.
I won't see you for a month, basically. Or close
see me
to
every Tuesday, my dude.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in person in the live.
Except for
flesh.
the Turku weekend, I won't be able to do the pod probably because I'll be flying.
Yeah. No, I mean the podcast is brutal when we start messing around with European time zones. So we'll figure it out. But all right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.